I think you're live, Elliot, but you've muted your own microphone.
As you might have realised, I'm live. As you realise, I'm not Mike Adkins. I'm Elliot Morris. I'm going to be hosting here. I can just hear the sighing already to show how well this is going. We've got the 4 of a call to arms. We've got today is Carl Pietsch versus Paul Brown. Paul isn't on the video with us, so we've just got Kyle, so we can say nasty things about Paul from a distance. Then you can watch it back later and be really angry with us. So we're going to run through the lists very quickly and have a look at deployment. So Kyle, should we start with you?
Sure. Do you want me to run through it, or?
You've got the elf list up there.
Yeah, that's also not my list.
That's definitely not your list.
No.
Cue up another sigh.
That's right. So there we go. There you go.
All right. So we've got 2 Tree Leaper regiments.
Cool.
Those are
take us through it.
Yeah. Those are the Speed 7 Nimble Flying Frogs. And then the Placoderms, the Defense 6 Spearmen. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this. And then as we look at, well, you'll see it when we look at deployment. And then the Tidal Swarm there for chaff. Dam Busters, just an absolute wrecking ball, but also Speed 7 Nimble Flying. 2 Gigahordes for that sweet Defense 6, because the Placoderms weren't enough. And then if you go on to the next page, the obligatory 2-knockers, because I didn't have points for 3.
Should have found it.
A Depth Horde Eternal, just trying out something new. A Siren, because what does a Defense 6 wall need more than weakness and drain life? Ector, of course. If you don't take Ector, like, why are you even playing Trident Realm? And the Trident King.
Very nice.
I'm sensing a theme
John,
here.
are you okay to just run through?
Yeah. I'll run through the elf list. You're going to click it up there. First up, we got a troop of Forest Guard, which I assume is some form of chaff. The obligatory 2 hordes of Palace Guard. A regiment of Kindred Archers. Stormwind Cavalry, I'm assuming for a bit of Alpha Strike there with a Potion of the Caterpillar. Silver Breeze Cavalry for a bit of nimble shooting. A regiment and a horde of Draken Riders. The horde have got the Boots of Striding, I guess for the Alpha Strike, avoid those hindered charges. Elven King with a Menace of Crushing, mounted on a horse. 2 Archmages, both with Lightning Bolt, one with a Boomstick, and one with the Inspiring Talisman. Also, the Inspiring Talisman has Bane Chant. And then Dragon Kindred Lord with a Blade of Slashing.
Very nice, thank you. Right. So you're going to see this is really slick now. This is just as slick as how
Wow.
when Mike does it.
Okay.
Looks like Elliot froze for me. Or is that just his face?
I think so. Oh, yeah.
Well, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be interesting.
This is just for fear.
Oh, there you go. He's back again.
We have a pixelated Elliot.
Oh, big pixelated.
There we go.
That's what he wanted. Okay.
We got Got a big version of me.
There you go. Right.
There it is.
Yay!
Yay.
There we go. Yay! Got there in the end. Right, Cal, we just take us out of deployment left to right, if we can.
Sure, you want to just go over what my stuff is? So on the far left, we've got that knucker off on its own. It's totally
just run us through.
like 3 units.
Yeah.
And then way over in like the middle of the board, we've got that orange unit. There's one of my tree leaper regiments with the dam busters behind them. They've all, well, the tree leapers got pathfinders, so hopefully those woods shouldn't be an issue. Then I've got 2 gigahordes in the middle, and the Depth Horde Eternal and Siren between them. Out in front there, the Tidal Swarm we already did the scout move, and that's where they went. So hopefully those Silver Breeze won't just shoot them off the table turn 1. Behind them, we've got the placoderms with the loot tokens, so hopefully they'll just never die, because placoderms. Then there's the king, and that insignificant guy next to him, we can just gloss over, no big deal. Yeah, hopefully Hector will... He's mostly, I think I put him down
the regiment of cavalry.
Yeah. He might end up zoning out the dragon too, we'll see. And then finishing up the other tree leapers, and then way on the end is the second knucker.
Cool.
And if you want, I can go over
Brilliant.
Paul's deployment.
Have you talked about terrain at all?
Yes.
Any heights of terrain?
So it's just an epic dwarf map, 2 of everything. The only real weirdness is the water feature in the bottom right, and that whatever that green thing is supposed to be in the top middle are both height 0 difficult. Other than that, we're just playing woods and buildings as arbitrarily tall, and hills as 3.
Cool.
Brilliant, thank you. Do you think you can run us through Paul's deployment? Do you think can you remember what's where?
I think Adam
Just go
already
through left to right
volunteered.
quickly, just so people can see where.
Yeah. I'll do that for you, Elliot.
Adam? Yeah.
So he's got his archer regiment out on the far left with the 2 tokens. Classic elf move right there. He's got a regiment of Drakons with a lightning bolt boomstick mage on foot right next to him. And he's got his horde of Drakons who has Strider. He's got the Force Guard troop going closer towards the center. He's got 2 hordes of Palace Guard right in the center, because that's where they belong. Mounted King with Mace of Crushing in front of them, and a Silver Breeze troop in front of them. And then he has his Pathfinder Stormwind Cav over into the woods. You can barely see it, but there's another mage with Lightning Bolt and Bane Chant in between the Cav and finally the Dragon, which has Blade of Slashing.
And then a dragon.
Because why not?
Out on the flank by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Staring
that's
down.
definitely. No, brilliant. Right then, well, good luck to you both. If you could pass good luck on to Paul for us. We'll let you get on with your game, and we'll see you at the end.
All right. See you at the end.
Cheers, Carl.
All right, so who do we think's going to win this?
Easy. Right.
Well, yeah,
I suppose. Yeah.
this is a tough one.
Who do you think list-wise? Who do you think's got the stronger matchup?
I think they're pretty evenly
Yeah.
faced off, to be honest. I do like the Trident Realm deployment.
Scenario-wise, do you think any of this?
Scenario. I think scenario-wise, they're also both pretty equipped for this type of play.
Mm.
But I think what Nick was going to say is exactly what I was thinking. After deployments, I think it's a different story. You were saying you like the Trident Realms, Nick?
Yeah, I particularly like over on the left flank, which he alluded to. He's got one Nooker facing down 3 very expensive units. And I think Paul is going to really struggle to get those Drakons into a spot where they can potentially start rolling down the flank, which is what you'd want to do from that position, really.
Especially with that nimble now.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna find it really difficult to get around that Nooker. I just think that's a really good deployment, just holding up those.
Incidentally, both rolling a 6 first turn.
Fair enough.
So is first turn more important in push than other scenarios?
I'd say it's very important, but maybe not as other scenarios. I can think that Raise, in my opinion, is probably the most important one to have first turn on. If you get the opportunity to go forward and burn tokens, that always seems to bite me if I don't have first turn.
I think if you're not in a position where you can threaten the central deployment from the central token from your deployment, I think it is a good idea to take first turn just to move up and put pressure on that central location, which is key to winning the game. But in this case, Adam has. I don't think he's got anything that can charge something that moved right into that central token, does he? Or does the scouting ones in there?
Yeah, I mean, you've only really got the
Tidal
Trident
Swarm.
King, because he's able to see over the top of that hill anyway.
True.
These tree leapers in the forest, they might be able to.
Yep.
Oh, because they're speed 7, aren't they? I think.
Yeah.
I see stuff. I think it's speed 6. I take that back. I take everything I just said back.
So he's moving his dragons down already, not particularly far. You can see. I think is he trying to keep it at a range of the Nooker on the left-hand side?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And honestly, I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate here, Nick. Being an elf player myself, looking at this deployment, and I've also played Kyle several times. Granted, I usually have more Silver Breeze in my army, so I feel a little bit better about this matchup. But I think that Paul's in a really good position here because these Drakons on the left, he has his Lightning Bolt Mage with Boomstick over there. That's going to put the pressure on the Nooker. That Nooker's not going to last 3-4 turns, and his Drakons will be able to threaten from the left-hand side, being blocked off by these buildings. So if Kyle pushes up past the midline, he's going to have to take some flanks or have to use some really unique maneuvering to avoid that.
Yeah, I think the Nooker, the longer it can keep those Drakon riders back, the better. So as long as he survives to turn 3, he's going to have kept those Drakons from really ploughing into the center. Now, I'm not going to say the Trident King is quick enough, Trident Realms are quick enough to actually cause enough damage in those turns, but the longer he's keeping those Drakon riders back, the better. My concern is he's never, unless it's a poor move by Paul, he's never going to be able to get those 2 tokens from the Kindred Archers, because he's never going to be in range without being attacked by the Drakons. Although where he's positioned at the moment, he can't get attacked by the Drakon riders because they just can't fit in.
Right. And that's what looks to be kind of the game here is that I think Kyle's just kind of given up, saying that, yep, you're going to have those 2 tokens at the end of the game, and I'm going to focus on the middle and the 3 tokens. Because I mean, these Drakons can definitely get into the fight, but for the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 turns, they're going to have to protect these archers, which when you're looking at one Knucker taking, 500-600 points out of the game, I think that's probably worth it in Kyle's mind.
Definitely, that's what my line of thinking was there. That's a really interesting point that the Drakons can't actually attack the Knucker at the moment because of the building, so it can actually push probably a little bit further forward from where it is, and really gun things up for Paul if he wants to.
Is that the boomstick mage over on the left there, or is it just the normal mage?
Nope, it's the boomstick. So 8 elite is going to really hurt a Knucker in a turn or
lots
2.
Of lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Don't forget you've got the very deadly archers as well coming up behind.
Because of 13, 15.
I've played with several archer regiments, and you know what? They can spike a roll. All right.
They can.
It's UB dice, isn't it? Let's do that. Yeah.
Oh, I've never had it on.
It has
UB,
happened once.
It only happens on the tabletop for me. So.
Oh, the loaded dice, got you. Right,
yes. Yes. Oh, you heard about that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's come across the Atlantic.
Adam's special dice.
I mean, if you go back to what we were talking about having first turn, I think it's important and push if you're going to get first turn that you can secure the objective. Now, certain armies are going to be able to do that. I don't think any of these armies have got the ability to get on the objective, but then stop your opponent from then being able to get to the unit who's got the objective. The Trident Realms don't have the speed, and there's not enough units over there on the Elven side to do it. So it's going to be interesting who goes to the objective first, or if they bypass it and then use a unit behind to pick it up.
And I think that this is
the advantage of first turn is that you can choose whether you or you threaten it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think this is the way both players deployed. I think they're going to be playing the long game, the smash and grab at the end. It's going to be who wins the war of attrition is who's going to get that token in the end.
Yeah. That's where I think second turn could actually be going second would be an advantage, because if you've got it turn 6 and you've got the final combat to take the token, it could be a big change.
Yep, I agree.
You've always got to weigh up that early pressure versus having the last turn to see, right, what do I actually need to win and know that I can win by doing that.
Yeah, he's trying to work out where best to put those hordes, which is the hard bit, because they're what he's relying on to take out most of this army.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if he really is relying on it, because these, the Gigas, the Placoderms, a flank charge by one of his Drakons or a Dragon or even the Stormwind Cav, that'll pick them up in most cases.
It's true.
So if I'm looking at it from Paul's side, he wants to play more of a standoff game and let the lightning bolts pick up the chaff before he commits.
Right, yeah. He can afford to hang back for a little bit longer. He's got to really
Paul's
wait.
play then, do we think? Is it to delay?
I think so. I think he's going to wait until he's got the chance to bring in both of his flanking elements with the Dragon Riders on one side and the Dragon on the other. Yeah. He can continue to chip damage away, as you say, on the smaller units, with a lower defense. Is there any heal? Is there much heal in?
Neither of these armies have any heal.
And there's no regen either, is there? Apart from
Trident Realms might have something. I think the King has regeneration.
Yeah, he's got regen 5. I was just trying to see if anybody else had any regen.
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, the Dam Busters have got regen 6. So.
Oh man, don't count them out.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
But I think you're absolutely right here as far as the Paul needs those flanking elements, and Elliot, I know you're lagging a little bit behind us, but can you give us the Drakon Horde and its front arcs when you have a chance?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Looking behind the scenes, hopefully.
that Drakon Horde not being able to threaten towards the middle seems a little odd to me. I know he wants to prevent this Knucker from wreaking havoc, but
Yeah.
I would think that the regiment of Drakons and then pressure from the lightning bolt and shooting would have been enough to turn those Drakons towards the center. Because right now, I think that leaves an opening if Kyle wants to try and push up hard in the kind of the left middle here, scooting around the building, where there's really nothing threatening him if he stays out of range of those that Palace Guard Horde.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things turning in towards the Knucker to try and keep him at bay. Well, you're right. If just the mage, the archers, and the regiment are going to be more than enough to keep him back and honest, aren't they? At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hopefully, you should all have slightly better view of the board now. I've passed over to Nick. Sharing. And closing UB means hopefully I shouldn't lag either.
Hey,
You're much better right now. Your face even
But,
looks better.
so they're on to shooting
Oh,
now,
well.
are they? Want to go for?
So yeah, we've got shooting going on. I believe. Surprise, surprise, shooting at the Knucker. So we're going to start out with the lightning bolt. By the look of it.
He's not inspired either, so a lucky shot could take him out early doors, and that could be massive.
Oh, I get to play.
Nick. You get to play now. You can interfere with the game.
Oh,
So
that's
is
a
that
good
everything?
hit.
Ooh.
Well, that's good. Is that
Ooh,
five?
ooh.
Straight
Five
off?
wounds to start. Now put another 5 from this archer regiment. Prove everybody wrong. Archers are the shit.
Well, he only needs to do another pip of damage, and
Why does he need 7s here?
Stealthy on the
Oh,
Stealthy.
yep.
Stealthy moved.
I should have known. Knuckers have every rule.
That's it. I hate Knuckers with a passion. But
Well,
try
they're
to
interesting
number,
because
isn't it?
they're one of those units that's just good enough that you can't avoid it, you can't ignore it, but it's cheap enough that you don't really care when you do things like this and you get shot off.
yes, it's that flank and rear that really helps it become a massive threat. 6 attacks in the front, don't care pretty much any units, but it's that ability to threaten. And I think that often catches people out, and it's caught me out in the past, is the fact that it's the monster, and so it can see over the top.
Yeah.
And nimble and
And
pathfinder.
nimble. Yeah.
And hits on 3s.
Yeah.
Another 3 wounds on the other Knucker on the other side.
Mm.
I think Kyle's biggest mistake this game is that he doesn't have a 3rd Knucker.
Oh! I think he should take him out.
I don't know if
Is
it
that
was
the one
on
on
the right
the-
side.
That's the right, so it's wavered.
wavered that one, though, I
if
think.
that'd been the one on the left, that would have been.
That was
I mean,
game
that's
changing
big
straight
already,
away.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wavered the one on the right.
So the swarm's fine in the middle.
Now the other one, if
Right,
he can
this is
kill
the big
the,
one. No. Sorry, I saw the swarm again.
13
Ooh,
waves.
that's a waiver as well.
Oh
I don't think that's a problem. I don't see that being a problem at all because he doesn't need to go forward.
no, he's still doing the same job he was before, effectively,
Right.
because now unless you bank on killing him and take the risk.
Well, not
But I
necessarily.
don't think you need to.
I think
Well-
you just back up around the building with that Knucker.
I think you lose the threat that way. I mean, admittedly, you can still shoot him, but if you take him out there, then the Draken Riders are going to have free reign. So he's better almost keeping him where he is, doing his job of just annoying, essentially.
True, but if you back him up behind the building and then Paul moves his Drakons away, he can come back the next turn and threat. So you're still getting the threat. It's just a turn delayed. And right now he couldn't charge anything anyway. So
Well, he wouldn't be able to move that far back behind the building anyway. And if I was in that situation, I think I just want to keep the left-hand units tied up. I think that's the most important thing for me personally. If I was playing here.
So they moved over to the other side now, have they? Is it next?
Yeah. So it's
What's that?
So it's on to Kyle's turn 1.
Yep.
Do I need to do anything?
Nope, I've done it. We're a team, Nick.
Good.
Between us, we've got this sorted.
That's it. 2 Northern Kings. How could we go wrong?
Ooh.
So, I mean, how big a deal is that for Kyle to lose both of his knuckers? Well, not lose them, but effectively take them out of the game for a turn 1. Does that scupper his plan?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Problem. I think the one on the right is more of a problem.
Sure. The problem is the Knuckers are outranged in this game, so they can't get into threat range against the Drakons. They couldn't get in threat range of anything on the right flank because of this dragon. And I guess the right flank, he could set up counter charges if he did move the Knucker up, but I don't know if he really wants to commit that at this point.
Yeah.
I think their job is just to keep those dragons and knights honest for the moment. It's I don't know. Having them wavered, admittedly, that gives them less options. But next turn, they might easily get shot off anyway. Both of them.
Right. And I'm honestly surprised, especially on the right flank, that Kyle didn't deploy that into the forest or the water feature to at least get some cover.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, his Knuckers are always one of the first priority targets, especially in this army. There's nothing else that's as fast.
Definitely.
And I suppose the 2 lightning bolt wizards are kind of the perfect counter to those Knuckers, especially the lightning bolt 8-1. Ignoring the stealth is pretty huge.
I think it's the combo of the range 20 on the flying units as well as the shooting that he's got has just pinned them back. And being where they are, they haven't got any inspiring either. So it could have taken a lucky nerve roll, and all of a sudden they're dead and out of the game, aren't they?
Yeah. If like we thought at first, if he'd had that first nerve roll of 11 on the left-hand knucker instead, that flank has gone at that point, and then Paul has complete freedom to not only get those 2 tokens over the board edge, and there's nothing that Kyle would be able to do about that, but he'd have the dragons able to jump over and start causing hell.
So what does Kyle do then to stop that happening next turn? Because obviously lightning bolts are going to shoot them again, and are you going to be in the same position next turn?
I don't think he can avoid the lightning bolt. I think he's on either side. He's going to get hit again. So whether he just takes it on the chin and just leaves them where they are, hoping that they affect the movement on his turn 2, I think that's the best he's going to get from them, in my opinion.
Yeah. So Paul basically has 2 choices. He can assume that he's going to do a similar sort of damage, similar sort of nerve roll, and either waver or route the knucker on the left. But the problem is that if he has a duff roll and he's moved his dragons in such a way that they're preparing to jump over next turn, well, then he potentially loses one of the dragon units, if not grounds them and has all that nastiness to deal with. But if he plays it safe, it's another turn that the dragons are out of the game, and we said it's at that point Paul's looking at a minimum of turn 4 before he starts actually doing something with those dragons.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of points not doing a lot then.
And this is where Kyle pushing up into the forest here is where that Drakon just being slightly turned would have prevented this from happening.
I was going to ask about that. What's in range of those tree leapers at the moment? Are they able to leap over to the palace guard halls at the back?
Yeah, it looks like he kept him out of the palace guard.
Because
But
they're in to charge 14 themselves up.
the king
Yeah.
and these forest guard, which the forest guard are nothing to sneeze at. They're pretty decent.
He's also moved the king quite far forward as well. Is he in range of the dragon and the knight?
So he is
Just out of range there, I think.
just out of range there. The knights they will be in.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing when you're going up against this type of army. It's really an Alpha Strike elf army with a couple of big hammers behind it. You kind of have to give them targets. You're not going to be able to prevent all the charges, so you just capitalize on which charges are going to be the best odds of you surviving and set up the counterpunch with those.
Because I think
Actually, that's nice. Got Pathfinder, yeah. Sorry, John.
I was going to say, what are the odds of that cavalry unit actually taking the king out? Because he's got ensnare, hasn't he? So they're going to be going into him on 4s and wounding on 3s. I don't think they're actually going to take him out in one go. And then they've got Ector will jump in and just take over, won't he?
Yeah, because the king is nimble, so he can just disengage. He'll still be on the hill, super tall, so he can always just kind of charge whatever he can see after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's
nimble on a chariot base is nice.
Yeah, I think it's a very good play for him to, say exactly that. What we were saying, I'll give you this charge, but it's not going to be a one-hit kill. And
yeah. And if you don't take that charge, then I've got the rest of my army on top of you.
Exactly. So again, Kyle's able to play very aggressively here because the flanking elements aren't threatening towards the center.
Yeah.
I would have actually liked to see the dragon even be a little bit more aggressive and obviously stay out of the Knucker's charge threat, but be able to contribute a little bit more because I don't even think these Gigas are threatened by this dragon right now.
No, they're out of range.
No. It could have shot a little bit further forward, but not too much.
Is he in charge range of the can he charge the Knucker back? Or is he out of 20? I think he's out of 20, isn't he?
And that's interesting. Yeah. He kept the dragon exactly, or I'm sorry, it's Kyle's turn. Never mind. He's not moving his entire army. What a power play by Paul.
Oh, and that's interesting as well. Siren going to cast Weakness on the Storm to make that combat even less favourable.
It's a good call.
Although, it's either. Yeah.
That does make sense. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be so that's going to be 4s and 4s with leads.
So that shouldn't be a kill.
That'll be 4 wounds on average. Yeah, you're not killing anything with that.
This is the thing. Just that Knucker has basically meant both the cavalry and the dragon are out of position, really, and that's allowed him to move so far forward as we're talking about trying to get to the token first. Because he's now got a difficult situation next turn as Paul. What he does, because the token can disappear very quickly if he doesn't react.
And tokens on one of those gigaholds is going to be a pain.
Yeah.
Trying to get it off one of them.
Of all units to try and chew through, I think the Palace Guard hordes are pretty good at that, but they're going to take a couple of turns to do it.
So this is the Trident King shooting?
Paul's getting a little bit of a lesson on Trident Realm shooting now.
Yeah, that king, I've played it several times. It's just he does a little bit of everything.
And he does it pretty well, like everything.
Yeah, I mean
he's fairly pricey, isn't he? But he is good.
He is, but it's very inspiring, which is always a fantastic role to have. But it's the combination of ensnare, defense, speed.
And this is interesting. This might mess up Paul's pre-plan. He had placed these Silverbreeze troop to where if they got wavered, they could back up and his Palace Guard horde can still get by them. But now that Ector has pushed them with Wind Blast, I don't know if that's going to be an option for him.
No, yeah, potentially there now.
He'd end up on top of his own unit. So yeah, that's a really good block.
But
fine.
But he didn't even waver, so that would have been a good time to just waver and not route a unit.
Absolutely, yeah.
But a good use of Wind Blast there.
Yeah, I love Wind Blast. Wind Blast is one of those misused things, especially a wounding Wind Blast that you get from Ector, because he needs another thing.
There's a few things that can do it, and they're fantastic. It's difficult to fit Wind Blast in your list, though, because it's a fairly expensive spell, as it should be, for anything that messes with movements. But it's also, you can't weigh up how much damage it does when you list it.
Yeah. As a elf player, for a long time, I was very sad when the Windborn Cav were only moved over to the Sylvankin.
I was going to say, you still got them. Just play hippie elves.
Yeah, but then I lose out on Dragons. So
that's interesting. So it looks like they're going for the Tree Leapers. Now they're 14, 16 defense 3 or 4, are they?
They're defense 4, I think, the Tree Leapers.
They are, yeah.
So they'll only be 3s with the weakness, but
that's interesting. You allowed them to be in range.
I wonder if that was a mistake.
I suppose they're 18-inch range out there, so it's a big area to avoid if you don't try and stay out the road with them.
I think Carl perhaps thought that
they were normal Cav.
They were speed 8,
because he's just outside of 16.
Right. Yes, you're right.
He does get countered though by Ector. All these Placoderms, yeah.
And if he doesn't waver this Knucker at the very least this turn, it's going to have a flank or potentially a rear charge if he kills him.
Correct. Yeah.
Is it worth the risk though? Because if you do blow through them, you're in a very nice position there.
I wonder if he takes the dragon into them as well, because it looks like the dragon might have range on the Tree Leapers also.
Dragon does not have range.
Okay.
Oh, they are going to be hidden. Oh,
no, I think he just ran them forward.
Yeah, closer to closest, I think would be.
Yeah. It wouldn't be hindered.
Because what are the charge range of Placoderms? They've got speed 5, so they are going to be able to get into there.
They got.
I don't know if that's a good choice.
They used to be speed.
They're fast now. Fast now, but you can't take holds anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
And the troops got a nerf. Because the troops were the 12-14 in the book before the FAQ. Have now been brought down to 10-12s.
Something like
quite
that.
A knock, really.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's bringing the dragon up aggressively. I suppose the dragon can also, if he stays at 10, can bring his breath attack onto the Knucker as well.
Right.
Although, of course, it's not actually a breath attack anymore, so it does suffer from stealthy.
It does.
It's still more dice.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think you can probably position it so you're in the front arc and still see something, can't you?
Yeah, he's got whichever arc he wants.
Definitely. Now, he needs to be careful that Ector is out of range, because if Ector hits the dragon and forces you to sit down in front of him, you're just going to be done for the rest of the game.
See, I'm not sure, because Ector is he 12-14, isn't he?
He is, but
I think Ector's fantastic at stopping cavalry regiments, but I find that he does drop to things like dragons, because it's 4s and 3s.
It's actually 5 carries, because he's phalanx.
He's in snare and phalanx, yeah. But with elite, I suppose you only need a couple of turns, but it's still a couple of turns where you're holding up a 300-point dragon.
Right. Well, and Ector just needs to survive for one turn, because ideally you're going to get a flanking element to come in to help support him the second turn.
Come join in.
So I don't know. I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say because of the positioning of the two flanking units, and he's able to move far forward. I've got a feeling that Paul feels he needs to be aggressive, and I don't think he needs to be aggressive. He'd been better relying on the small amount of shooting that he does have to cause a bit of damage and then attack. 'Cause he's got the range and everything. His Stormwind cavalry were still in a good position to threaten everything on Carl's side.
The issue is that the Stormwind Cav were threatened by pretty much everything on Kyle's side. Because if he didn't charge this turn with the Stormwind, he was going to get charged.
Could he not back off enough? Because with a 4.5 inches backwards, all right, he's at a bad angle.
Exactly.
He could have possibly positioned them far enough in because they're not affected by the woods. They'd still be there with the Trident King and the Gigas, and he'd still be able to then take out the Nook and reposition next turn. But I guess it's an easy thing to say, isn't it?
So what do you think the play is with the Dracons on the left then? Yeah.
He has to put at least threaten the center. There's really nothing that can count or charge the Dracons.
I think in his position I would pivot them, because I think you can pivot them, not only keep the Nooker and potentially most places it would go in your front arc, but also start to threaten across more to the right. In fact, I would perhaps leave the regiment as the anti-Nooker if it survives, and turn the Horde, keep it out of the Nooker's charge range, because 9, 12, you can very easily do that and basically turn 90 degrees towards the center.
I agree. And I think that if he really wants to play aggressively, he could fly the other Dracon Horde up to try and shoot the gap, essentially, or threaten through the gap of the two buildings over here, and really kind of put Kyle on a timer and force him forward. Yeah.
I mean, the tricky bit without the nimble is they're not going to be able to go, at the full 20 in turn. But
it would set him up for next turn.
Exactly. I think he would be personally spinning almost like 90 degrees, avoid being charged by that tidal swarm, and threaten the flanks of those Gigas. Because if he doesn't start doing something soon, they'll snaffle up that token, and this is going to be a hard thing to get back from.
Agreed.
One thing he does have to watch out for is the Tree Leapers and the Dambusters both have fly.
Well, and the issue, Kyle positioned those really weirdly. I thought he would position them in a way where he could threaten around the building towards the Dracons. But instead, he chose to turn them in potentially to counter a charge into his Gigas. But I don't know if I like that on the Tree Leapers at the very least.
Yeah, because they've opened up that kind of space you could just fit the Dracons into and not be threatened by either of those.
Right.
That Dracon regiment on the hill, that doesn't have a charge on the flank of the Tree Leapers, does it?
No.
No, not that.
Out of range, I think.
It's out of arc.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is close.
Barely.
I'm sure he checks that.
That would have been a nice little.
I mean, with where it is, I bet he probably did with how close it is.
Yeah, and that might explain sort of why they're there. But I suppose you could easily have defended yourself with the building.
Yeah, you could have kept them in your flank, couldn't you?
Right.
So it just looks like Paul setting up shots, sort of clean shot there for the mage onto the Nookers. And I think he's yet to decide what he's going to do with his Silver Breeze and.
He's taken.
What would you do with your Silver Breeze here?
2 units.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's where he's kind of got himself into a position where he needs to maximise as much as he possibly can on this flank. It's going to come down those. What's the chances of the Stormwind actually deleting those Tree Leapers? Because what are they going in on? They're hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, are they?
They're in snare, I think, aren't they, as well? So it'd be falls and
3s.
Falls and 4s. Falls and 3s.
Yeah, they have Pathfinder.
With elites.
Yep. So they're not taking the -1 at least, but Tree Leapers, they are in snare, aren't they?
I think so, yeah. I think
Having a quick check. Yeah, they are. So they're in snare, but yes, you don't lose the Thunderous. So it's going to be 4s and 2s, isn't it?
But they've got weakness,
Weakness.
so it's 3s.
Got weakness. That was it. Yeah. Yeah.
So Paul's going aggressive with his Dracons here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this.
I'll be interested to see. I think what he's done there. I'm going to guess he's going to block up with the other regiment.
Well, it's, at the very least, the Nooker,
Nooker in the front.
which I didn't see.
See, I don't like that. I prefer to be angled the other way so you can fly through and turn next turn.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
Or is
he's
he
being confident.
Yeah.
I would rather have seen him just turn it, or if he's going to be this aggressive, move them up and turn them to where the Nooker is given a flank if you don't waver him at the very least.
Because it's going to take at least another turn for those Dragons to get in a position to do anything. If not 2 turns, because they may not be able to get
2 turns now, I think, where he is there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyle doesn't move, those Dracons are still not threatening anything.
Yeah.
No, they're not. He has to wait until reposition next turn, and from there, he's only got really one option, which is to kind of go through between the 2 buildings, because he can't turn 90 degrees because of the other buildings in the way, and it's going to be blocking his line of sight. So he's got only one place he can go, which does make it easier to counter them.
And even if he lands in that one place, I don't think he's truly threatening anything, because unless his leadership point is in that forest, he's not going to be able to see anything.
Correct.
Yeah, very true.
Well,
These Dragon Halls really do play so differently now, don't they?
They do. It can potentially go straight forwards, 3, 6. No, I don't think he can even go straight forwards, pivot, and then move forwards enough to clear the bottom building.
No, he's going to have to turn straight away and go the full 10 and hope that his leader point. I think he can possibly get the leader point in, but the angle is going to be difficult.
Well, the angle on that, it's
not going to be ideal.
Going to be level with the board, the board edge.
And another thing, Kyle could potentially just turn these dam busters and keep out of the arc. And these Dracons, not being nimble, will really have limited options of getting out of their charge or preventing the charge, which would delay them yet another turn.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was thinking. All you do is you almost kind of move them dam busters forward and spin them so that particular landing spot is covered. I mean, the only other alternative is he has to kind of come back on himself or overshoot. But either way, he's still out of the game.
Right.
I don't know if I'd bother covering that landing spot, because I just don't think that those Dracons, from where they move next turn, can effectively threaten you anyway.
Right.
And I think the pressure from those dam busters on the centre of the board will be more important than covering a landing zone for which he's not going to be able to do much anyway.
Yeah. And it really depends on how Kyle wants to play this, because right now Kyle has the option with the way Paul moved. He could just bum rush. He could just go straight forward.
Absolutely.
And basically play the numbers game, saying your Palace Guard are going to be hitting me on 5s because they're going to be hindered. They're going to have ensnare. And then I'm going to just try and beat you up before these Dracons can get into the position they need to.
Yeah.
Because this dragon, even over on the right flank, is, again, not threatening the centermost units.
No, and he's not going to want to charge the placoderms because they on snare and phalanx as well, aren't they? So he's going to be on 5s to hit them.
I think they're only phalanx.
Only phalanx.
Yep, they dropped ensnare off him because defense snicks and snare phalanx is only for Ector.
Yeah, so they're only phalanx.
Yeah.
4s to hit,
But
and
still,
then also if you weakness the dragon as well, that's going to make them so they're going to be on 4s and 4s, which is just not going to help with the dragon at all.
Right.
But where do those Dragon Riders, the regiment, where are they actually able to reach you from that position? So they're quite far in, pretty much in the middle of that marshy element, isn't it? So they've got quite a
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. But it's
Has
also
the Tidal Swarm picked up the token? I don't think it has, is it?
You could ask them.
I've seen them say it.
No. I mean, I would guess not, because they're showing their flank to a horde there, and it probably wouldn't be the best.
I don't know, because that's the sort of thing that you might try and do to tempt your opponent out.
Right. It's
Because,
good bait.
they might pick up the token, and that makes that an extra juicy thing to force them to charge.
Right.
And that brings him right into your kill zone.
Exactly. I think picking up the token's the right call in this situation. Because at the very least, if you didn't really want the token, you can just drop it next turn.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that he could probably leapfrog all his units ahead of the tidal swarm and have the tidal swarms start backing up and playing keep away.
It's true. But with it being push, I don't know if he's going to try that, just because he's already sacrificing the 2 tokens on the left flank from the archers.
Yeah, true.
So he's playing that he needs all 3 of these tokens, and he needs at least 2 of them on the other side of the board.
So does Paul want to be aggressive here in the middle to hold Kyle's tokens on that side of the board?
With the way he's positioned his Dracons, I don't think he does. He hasn't set up his counter elements or his flank charges, and it won't be set up for another turn or 2 with this horde of Dracons. So I think he needs to play more of the defensive line, back off, don't let the double charges that are going to destroy a Palace Guard unit in one shot get into you.
Because those dam busters joining in with Knuckers would actually really hurt a Palace Guard horde.
Oh yeah, it's very likely that they'll
it only falls, but it's falls and 2s, isn't it? And then in fact, falls and 2s on both of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Knuckers changed, didn't they? They're not as high crushing anymore, are they? They're
Gigas.
Gigas, sorry, not Knuckers. That's it. They're melee 3 now, but they're only crushing 2 and vicious.
And vicious, which is fine.
So you mean perfect to kill these guys?
Yeah, perfect to kill Palace Guard.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
So actually,
that'd be 24 attacks hitting on 3s, and pretty much every single hit is going to wound. That's significant.
So you're looking at
that's going to be a dead horde in one go.
You're looking at 15 to 18 wounds, easy.
Yeah.
With one
Which
unit.
is not what you want on your near to 300 point. Palace Guard horde.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he pushes the Palace Guards horde too aggressively, but I do think he wants to try and take out that tidal swarm. Only because it's going to be a big factor in the combats coming up. Because we can use that to block one of the Palace Guard hordes, then he's going to then be able to get the objective and get into a good position. Or if he leaps them over them with the Gigas and then leaves the swarm to pick up the token out of range.
It's like the individuals charging Hector in the flank. That's the way to get him.
Yeah, I've been lining that up.
I mean, I don't hate the Silver Breeze charging the flank of that tidal swarm.
No, I don't.
Just to get it in the way.
And again, it brings Carl's units forward on the counter charge.
Yeah, I think that for now he can save that unit. Force the Trident King to try and shoot him again.
But if he gets a waiver again, that's just going to be...
Yeah.
He gets a waiver for the first time. Not again.
Right. Do you mind selecting the mage that's on the far right to see how far away from the tree line he is?
6.
Obviously.
Okay. So he can get into the trees.
Yeah.
So looking at it, that's his source of Bane chance. So if he wasn't able to see these Palace Guard hordes, he's never getting through these Gigas, I feel.
They're asking questions. Ooh.
I think he's... See, I always say it's probably just in. I think if you touch the line, you're in there, but...
Yeah, that's how I usually play too, so...
Yeah. No, I think he's all right.
Oh, Carl said...
Now, see, that's interesting because that charge there I mean, you damage an Ector, and either Ector can charge back or he goes off somewhere else. But that king should kill Ector eventually, especially if Ector's running off to do other things.
So the weird thing, did this king take some of the special upgrades? All he has is a Mace of Crushing.
Yeah, so he's not got the hit on 2s.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Duelist, which would be huge right here.
It would. So it's 5 attacks on 3s with Elite, and then I think he's just crushing 1, I think, isn't he?
Yep, only 1, so he's only going to be wounding on 5s.
3s and 5s. But it's pretty much free damage, because if Ector's fighting the king, I'd be okay with that, because of all the things you don't want Ector doing, just fighting your individual is fine.
It's also removed the inspiring from the center as well. That's the interesting thing. So
that's the big thing that I don't like.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, if that king goes, he doesn't have any standard bearers or anything that he can relocate there. In the sense, is the only other inspiring thing the dragon, or does
and the mage?
Correct,
and the mage as well.
Did he give an inspiring talisman?
Inspiring talisman, but the mage over on the right hand side has got it IT.
Oh yeah, but it's nowhere near inspiring range.
No. It's not going to be able to
wants the
forest.
Okay, here we go. Some shooting.
Yeah, shooting. So he's backed off with both Palace Guard Hordes and left the Silver Breeze in place.
Those Silver Breeze Waver, that's a lot of turns spent doing nothing.
But in this position, they're far enough on the flank. If they waver, he can do a nimble pivot still and back up to get out of the way of the Palace Guards.
Yeah.
And I suppose they're hoping that the Wind Blast won't be there.
Okay, so wounds from the
Archers.
Yeah, the Archers. Yeah, they do something.
Archers O'Doom. And Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt does another 2, so that takes it up to 9. That's a very good chance of a waver or a rout, but not what I would trust to do to rout something. So I definitely wouldn't have exposed a flank, which he hasn't, but I definitely wouldn't have assumed that I'd be able to.
Yeah,
right?
but even if he, I still questioning that Dragon unit.
I am. I think that's I mean, it's not in a bad position in terms of there's no risk for him, but there's no gain either.
No.
As you say, he's not threatening anything at the moment, and he's probably not going to threaten anything for a turn or 2.
Oh, look at that.
So another 3 more wounds to the Swarm.
So needing a 6.
I really, really like Silver Breeze troops.
Yeah, I
still don't understand why they can shoot better on horse than you can on foot, but there we are.
Yeah. No, I do too. I played 5 of them in 2nd edition, so.
He's got an elite.
Yeah, that is going to be a problem. Oh, he did. He was able to get the dragon. Okay.
He forgot to elite on the dragon, but there we go.
Dragons are only elite melee.
Oh, yeah.
They no longer have elite fire.
Lightning Bolt
makes all of the sense, which is good. Oh, yeah, that was better.
The lightning bolt makes up for it.
Yep.
I do think the Knuckers just run around with lightning rods on their heads.
Oh no!
Oh,
Knuckers fine. That is a dead regiment of Silver Stormwind. It looks like.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
13, is that a waver or a rout?
That routes.
Yes. There's no inspiring there, is there?
Unless the Depth Horror Eternal had it.
But he only inspires Depth Horrors, doesn't he, I think?
Pretty sure.
Both lists actually are very light on inspiring, aren't they?
Left hand.
Kill him.
Oh, he's killed the left-hand knucker.
Yeah. Right on it.
Yeah, right on it. Yeah. 1 point lower.
So I think we can pretty much say that's 2 tokens for Paul there that is going to get safely across the board. Unless, of course, the Dambusters do something to try and
stop Dambusters spinning around. That if then the Dragon Riders fly off, then the Dambusters again have got another nimble 14-inch move that could get them over the building.
Can you just click on the Dambusters, Nick? Can we see where they can get to? They can't clear that building. Oh, they could clear that building. If he moves and comes around the corner, they could just nimble and turn and jump straight over that building.
Right. And I think that would be a very that would definitely be worth it.
Oh, look at
Plus,
this,
it'd be
look-
fantastically
Ooh.
cinematic as
It's
all these
really
frogs come smashing
fun.
over the building.
Wow,
Ooh.
that was unexpected.
What do they get?
13.
13. I
One
think
short.
they're
One
fine.
short.
Ooh.
I do like those little troops, I have to say.
Mm.
It's the elite 3s to hit, isn't it? With is it Thunderous
Yeah.
1?
Thunder 1.
Thunderous
Yeah.
and Pathfinder, yeah.
Yeah, I like them in a horde in the Sylvankin list.
Oh, so only 7 hits,
What are we saying? 3s to wound, so 5.
Yeah.
5 damage, yeah. It's not far off, I think, is it, what it should have been, really? It's,
Oh,
yeah.
and a 3. No.
Yeah.
Well, it was a stretch to. Hope
It
to kill
was.
them. But even if you killed them, what do you turn to face? Do you
Well,
turn-
exactly, but
How do you turn
the
to face?
Nooker's still alive, so yeah.
Right.
The Knucker.
Just a king.
But is the Knucker going to be?
Oh, yeah.
Is the Knucker going to be hindered on that fence? Because that.
I have to admit, I don't know what you'd do with the Knucker, but I think with the Placoderms you could easy flank charge, can't you? So I don't even know if you need the Knucker in there. You could
I
do
would lock
big
down
on the dragon.
itself.
Exactly. Lock down the dragon and then try to get maybe Ector into a position to threaten the dragon or the Trident King. And
Yeah.
if you haven't got anything else.
So he managed to get 2 wounds on Ector at least, so Ector's not firing his wind blast.
Yep, that's definitely
Okay, so
worth it.
It's Kyle's turn too.
I think you actually want to charge the dragon here with the Knucker, just to put a
I
wound
agree.
on it,
I agree. Yeah.
and then kill.
It's
Silver
another
Breeze
turn, isn't it,
as
where
well.
that dragon's not doing a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, on 8 wounds, that Knucker is as close to dead anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
No matter what it does, it's dead
Oh.
next turn. It would just get shot up by the mage anyway.
Right.
Yes, yeah. And if you at least you're doing something holding the dragon in place, because if you can take the dragon out, then those Placoderms are going to have a free reign just sliding up that right hand side, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean the dragon's got nimble, so it can jump all the way over and turn its 90 degrees, as flies used to do, as all flies used to do. And so strategically shutting that down, I think, is the most important thing that Knucker can do. More important than a couple of wounds on the Stormwind.
Oh man, I didn't realize that Gigas are nimble.
Yeah,
They're nimble now.
They're what? They're what?
They're
Yeah, they're nimble. They're crabs. They scuttle.
I was looking. I'm like, how the hell did Kyle get into that position?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that.
Speed 5 and nimble out there. Something like that. They're
I mean,
they're
that's really
a really
cool with the big
interesting,
shield.
unique unit.
With big shield, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah,
Are they in range of the
they're also
board?
they're on the just out. Or that one's just out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
But again, nobody picking up that token.
yeah, I don't think you need to at this point, especially if it, eliminates nimble on these guys.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Aiming to do that with the Trident King might not be a bad shout, just because he's so tanky. And in the last turn, if it comes down to it, with his ensnare, his regeneration, high defense, high nerve, it might not be an easy thing to pick up.
Right.
I'm also in push. I'm a massive fan of just having the tokens in your hand. I know that sounds really obvious and simple to say, but anytime there's a token on the ground, it's a real threat to you. That something you don't see comes in and grabs it. That can be the game for you.
Yeah.
Or just stops you from grabbing it,
It's true.
Watching the game last night, Tom versus Brindley, when he dropped the tokens to go get a charge off, and I was sort of shouting at my screen, going, "Don't drop your tokens on turn 5."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you think you've got a safe way of going back for them, because as it turned out, then he didn't, and something went wrong,
Right.
And you just think, just keep hold of the tokens whenever you can.
And I think
So it has
that
gone
there
for
are
a flank charge there.
situations, because in this case, him picking up the token is going to put him in threat range of those Dracons. So I don't I don't think it's worth
True.
taking.
Yeah.
So
And I suppose there's no nimble is there on the Drakon, so they can't grab it this turn because they can't charge.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing in Paul's army can pick it up or prevent him from picking it up because he can simply just sidestep.
yeah, well, he's got Depth Horror Eternal as well. Can always leap onto it at some point. He's
Right.
a 10 unit in his own right, isn't he? Nerve 16.
Again, I would like the Depth Horror Eternal picking it up there. Even if you're taking the charge, you're going to have Dam Busters and Tree Leapers to counter that.
Yeah, and
actually, the Depth Horror Eternal would be a really nice token carrier.
Mhm.
But I wonder if these Palace Guard Horde would actually be able to threaten it. Do you mind giving us the range, Nick, on the Palace Guard Horde?
No threat from them.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad call. He's just going to be the focus of all the lightning bolt from there going forward.
Yeah,
True.
At least be in a position where you can pick it up. I think would be my.
Yeah, because he's not offering any inspiring, is he? At this point in time, he's just.
No, he's just.
Out of,
They're really nice characters. The Eternals, I have to say. They're
Yeah,
no.
I like him. Taking a look at his stat line.
So my big concern now is the Drakon Riders. The Horde is now going to have a little bit more free reign than it was originally. So will it be able to leap over to the other side of the building? Will it actually be able to get the other side with slightly less than?
Well, don't forget that the Dam Busters are most likely going to be able to pivot after this combat. I don't say pivot because double ones are double ones, but I think what you would do at that point is turn them left 90 degrees.
Yeah, face that building and threaten on each side of it.
What about the Drakon Rider Regiment, though? Will they be able to jump in and chaff, so allowing the Drakon Riders Horde to get in? So if they spin and it's less than 90 degrees, they're in arc, they can see them, so they can leap in, and then the Horde comes in behind.
It's possible. But I think that this Depth Horror Eternal, where its position, could potentially kind of have a say in that as well.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't count those Drakon Riders as being able to disorder the Dam Busters, to be honest.
Because they've got Ensnare as well, have they?
They've got Ensnare, and it's going to be into terrain, so you're going to be hitting on 5s.
Mm-hmm. And only crush 1.
Yeah, it's very true. That is very true. And if they don't disorder, then they just get leaped straight over, don't they?
Yeah.
Goes after the token carriers.
So
are they...
looks as if Ector went back into this king. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so what we got? King onto Silver Breeze.
That's a good hit.
Yeah.
That's very good. So up to 10
5
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's looking like a dead Silver Breeze.
I think so.
Anything
Oh,
but.
wait.
Yeah, whoever would be worse.
Drain life onto the his king. That's pretty good. And then he can heal Ector right back.
Yeah.
All
There
that
it
work.
Yeah.
Just pass that over.
Yeah, that's it. Have this.
Should be 3 wounds, shouldn't it?
Is he defense 4? I thought he was
defense
defense 5.
Is he? I thought all elves were defense 4.
Should be.
Yeah.
5.
No, the shield watch now as well. Salamander elves.
Unless you're a dragon, just defense 4.
14, that'll pick up the Silver Breeze, won't it?
Yeah.
Just. But,
No inspiring.
Nope.
I mean, it's looking really good for the Trident Realms at the moment, I have to say. I mean, the only issue, I think, is he's going to be able to get those tokens on the left. I don't think there's going to be any issue with him, Paul, getting the 4 points for having the archers cross the line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it. So in a game of kill, it's looking very good. I suppose it's scenario player wise.
But it
it's
is
not
only the
great,
bottom
but I'm not sure
two.
it's
That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. There's lots of time.
I mean, there's 600 points of Palace Guard hordes left in this game, so
Yeah. 3 wounds onto the Dragon Lord, but no kill,
Dragon
which
Lord.
I would expect. But
Yeah. It's not fearless.
well,
It's not a Basilian dragon. You can waver it.
that's true.
Right.
I do like that frogs make you brutal.
Ooh. That was all right, so 3 wounds.
that was less than what you wanted.
Yep.
Hmm.
But this is the big one. Can these placoderms contribute?
But they don't have any crushing strength or anything, do they?
They don't.
No.
I guess
So they
one
are
of the
inspired.
benefits the king. Yep, the king does inspire him. So
Oh, one more there because he missed an attack or 2 attacks from the tree loops.
Ah,
And good guy Paul pointing out.
Well, it's still
only 4 more from the.
Only 4 more.
yeah.
But it's the 5s, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
brutal, he did pop brutal this turn. So
Right.
I think that's a waiver.
What is that? That's 8, 13, 14. They're 14, 16, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Are they headstrong? These ones. Don't feel they are. They're one of them.
Now this is the thing. Do we say to them because they said that they're fine, and it's wavered? I think they've forgotten brutal.
We tended to say we're not to get involved unless we're asked.
Sounds right.
It's the only fair way, unfortunately.
I don't think it's going to matter too much, just because knights on a countercharge are going to do little to nothing.
Yeah, with the ensnare, even on the tree leapers, it's going to be hard.
So Ector into the king does another 3 wounds, but doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so choosing not to use the Dambuster's frog. Weirdly.
I don't know why.
You say
It just
that
comes
now.
down now.
Isn't that why you buy those expendables, just to use them first chance you get?
Using the chaff, yeah.
So I broke the forest guard as expected.
Okay, where's he going to turn them?
I think these river guard probably need to back up. I think if they get 1 inch, they can probably protect their flank from the Drakons.
But then do they expose the flank of the...
I think,
Well,
kind of
damage concern.
on the lines of what Nick was saying, Dambuster's turn and take the charge to the front with hindered, and I don't think they're in snare though.
I think they are, aren't they?
No, the
No, not. Okay.
Dambusters are one of the only things that aren't in snare.
Fair enough. So it's turn to face.
Got
Rather
the
than
sticky tongue and
No,
everything.
Worm Riders out in snare. Don't forget that Worm Riders are also terrible.
not that Elliot's bitter about it, Hole.
No, they're just the worst unit in the game.
Interesting.
They're not. They're really not. They're just not. They don't serve a role, especially when you've got Dambusters in it now that do their role better in this list.
So
Yes.
he's valuing the not being able to charge these Dambusters over a positioning here.
And I actually quite like that because when you can double, triple charge into those halls, you'll take them off in one go.
You
And
know what?
again, I don't think the Drakon Regiment into the front, even of the Tree Leapers, isn't a very safe charge.
Well, they're not inspired.
They're not, but you got the Depth Horror Eternal there ready for the counter charge anyway.
Yes, yeah.
So, with
Oh,
what
it's gone
we
to
were
turn
talking
three, is it?
about before, what's the range on these Dambusters? Are they able to clear the building if he charges the River Guard and then also moves the Drakons up beyond the building?
It looks like, yeah, 14. So they could just swing a left turn and go straight across.
Because if they leave although they still got the lightning bolt at the back there, if they leave the Kindred Archers exposed, then it's going to be game over. Well, not game over.
That'd be the move, I think. Yeah, because if you do that, that is game, isn't it? Really?
Right. Because he's going to have to hope for lightning bolt, and at that point, it's going to be so far into the game. Do you even turn your Drakons around?
What I would be almost tempted here is to turn the Drakons kind of 90 degrees and then see how far you could charge into the Gigas. Because if they can threaten the Gigas at least, they also stop those Tree Leapers from maybe bypassing them.
Yeah, it's true.
Because the other alternative of coming back around the bottom of these buildings here is not going to give him many arcs, and if everything moves out of the way, then again he's just not got a chance to utilize the unit.
Right. And if Kyle's going to continue to push forward, the Drakons are going to be playing catch up the whole game.
Absolutely.
If that dragon disengages an inch, has it got anywhere to charge? That's not the Nooker.
I don't think so, because it'd be in the front of the placoderm.
Front, yeah.
What about Ector? Is he able to charge the flank of
He's
Ector?
got a flank on Ector if he can see him. I think backing up an inch might do it.
I don't know if he's going to have enough turn. I mean, enough clearance of the what's he called? You know what I'm talking about. The Nooker, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Dragon looks like he's stuck.
Do you just? I'd almost be tempted with the Dragon is to back him up, lightning bolt the last few wounds off that Nooker, and then have the Dragon in a position that he can't get countered by either the Trident King or Ector. So then he's then got some use, because where he is, he's got the Trident King staring at him as well, hasn't he? And then possibly the Placoderms as well coming in after that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not a good position for his Dragon.
So it looks like the Drakons are going to try and go from that building, which I just don't like.
I don't like that.
Because then it's another turn before you even threaten anything,
and even next turn.
He can threaten the back of the Dam Busters as they are now.
But they're not going to be there.
Yeah, as they move forward, that's it.
You just see like a big frog leap over the building and you're didn't see that.
Like I said, it'd be very cinematic.
Yeah.
This huge frog appears. Just, ah! It's badoing.
You know what I'm saying? Gotcha, damn it. How come they're nimble and we're not? We got big dragons. Come on.
Everybody knows that frogs are the far more nimble creatures than lizards.
Oh dear.
So, having just mocked up the Dragon versus Nooker in PowerPoint, that it does not have the angle to get Ector, I don't think. It's going to hit the King.
Yeah.
But you'd move the King out
of
the
the way. Looks like Paul might be changing his mind. Doing the right thing.
This is definitely a better play.
I totally agree, yeah. Even if he's not seen the Dam Busters move, this is a better play anyway, I think. Just because you're threatening something next turn rather than maybe in a few turns' time when you don't know what the game's going to look like and what the flow is going to be.
So then my question is, does Kyle still maneuver the Dam Busters to kind of go back over behind this building and potentially threaten the archers if they push up too far?
I don't think
I would still like that, to be honest. I think you've got... I mean, it will depend on the Drakon regiment. If that does manage to break the Tree Leapers, you can't really do that. I don't think. But if
sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the Tree Leapers hold, then yeah, I agree. I would still have those Dam Busters going around just to keep the Drakon Horde honest all game.
Right.
Where would the Dam Busters get to if they went over the building? Because they got the move of 14, haven't they? They're not going to be able to clear arc of the Drakons.
No, I'm not thinking of them going over the building, more or less on the underside, on the bottom side of the building, because Tree Leapers being nimble, they could pivot, and then...
Oh. Changing his mind again. No.
No, don't go there.
No.
Well, now they can go over the building.
Yeah, now they could.
I suspect he
Well,
has seen that they can
put
jump over.
Put it this way, he's definitely not listening to the stream.
No.
Or he's seen something and we're all wrong, because he is on table 4.
Yeah.
And I'm not. We're not.
It's very easy for us to look at this, bounce some ideas backwards and forwards while you're in the game.
Yeah.
He's
It's
scrabbling.
so much easier to see things at this way than it is when you play him.
Right. Well, and because right now, it's top of 3, so they're not doing anything next turn, and I think it's going to be questionable if they can even get into position to do anything the turn after that. So we're looking at turn 5. This Drakon Horde, if they're in their final position, turn 5 might be where they actually end up hitting something.
And that's
But in
amazing.
the meantime,
Those
it's very much maybe.
could go all the way forwards, and I don't like that play.
Well, if the Tree Leapers, if we say the Dam Busters go over the top, the Drakon Riders will then maneuver into the wood behind the Tree Leapers. Now, admittedly, the Tree Leapers may have been able to turn around to face them, but if they haven't, then they're going to have a rear of the Gigas. And I'll be honest, it's that token, isn't it? The one at the bottom in the middle that's going to swing all of this. Because there's a chance that the Placoderms don't make it to the other side of the board.
What's he doing there with the archers?
He wants to shoot sometime. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Get them on the other side of the board.
I mean, if the Tree Leapers jump over now, I suppose it's not a one-shot kill.
No, I think Tree Leapers jump over. They're in a better spot because if the archers moved, 10 inches
not Tree Leapers. Sorry, if the Dam Busters would jump over now, Dam Busters in the front don't necessarily one-shot an archer regiment.
No, but they wouldn't.
They are 14-16.
They wouldn't be getting a front charge anyway. Because if they jumped over the building, the archers would turn to face them at that point rather than give up a.
Right.
Yeah.
But in a one-on-one combat,
Kings into the siren.
Honestly, if the Dam Busters do jump over, I think he charges them with the archers down a hill.
Oh. Is the king charging so
pin them?
Maybe he did know what he was talking about all the time.
That is actually, if that's
it's the siren. No, it's the siren.
If his train of thought is along those lines of baiting the Dam Busters to jump over and then charging them down the hill with the archers, that's a next level play right there.
That is the ballsiest play I've ever seen.
Although they'd only have a move of 10, wouldn't they? Unless you then drop the token, which is...
No, drop the token.
Don't do it.
Well, which turn 4, you can do it. It's fine.
That's it. Archers mop up the Dam Busters.
Ignore everything I said about don't drop the token. Drop the token, charge your archer regiment in with your thunderous charge, and profit.
Kill the Dam Busters in 2 turns.
In one.
Fine.
No, you don't. One
don't do it in one.
That's what it is, right? Just arrows through the eyes. There you go. Your frogs die.
Nope, he cannot get Hector.
Over the course of 2 turns, I definitely think the Dam Busters will take. Are they Dam Busters? Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll definitely take out the archer regiment in 2 turns of combat.
I think they might Drakon Riders. I think if they do that, because they're going to turn over, Drakon Riders will spin round. They may charge the archers, but then you're going to get them.
So I can do this. There you go. Look at that. I can put this on screen. So a question from Sai. Can the Dam Busters really pivot once they get over the building? I'm pretty sure they can. They don't have to go the full 90 degrees left and get over.
Right.
And they're speed 7, nimble, and fly.
So if you click on them, and then you can see where the 14 is going to be. You just have to make sure the back of the unit is over an inch away, don't you, from the Drakon Riders, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but it's close.
I can't see. Yeah.
It'll be off.
That 14 is way over. He's going to be able to get
way over. Yeah.
I mean, I'm showing the line with the mouse, but I realise you guys can't see that, can you?
I can see the mouse.
We can see the mouse.
Okay. Yeah. So that'd be the front of their base there. Maybe behind that. Maybe there.
It really depends if he can keep the inch away from the Drakons, because if this River Guard regiment dies, he's probably going to pivot those Dracons to where he has to clear further than the building to stay an inch away from them.
Yeah.
I quite like that I can bring comments up on screen. Means I can do this.
Oh, you know,
What a
he's not wrong there.
Absolute truth.
I mean, there's no
And then-
distractions here at all.
There's a question for John here that we didn't answer earlier.
Ooh, hello here. All right, maybe. I've done okay with them.
They don't-
They're still good. Right, Elliot, don't you dare
Yeah.
stop down.
They're so good. So
So
there was
good,
actually a pretty in-depth discussion on the Mantic Elf page, and I think Paul might have actually been involved with it. I can't remember who exactly said it, but somebody they were talking about Alpha Strike armies and comparing elves versus Basilians, and somebody said that in their opinion, the Elohi fill a better role because they would take the Fearless and the Inspiring for the points over Dracons.
Over Elite and Thunderous.
Right, and I completely disagreed, but that's the way that I play. I want to hit something and kill it, whereas they were talking more of like a grind, like hit them first and then not die to a counter charge.
I don't think
they're
any of
both
those-
solid units now.
They are solid units. I just don't think they're the charge into the front of a unit and kill it in one shot unit anymore, which is what the
No.
Elohi were in second edition. You could just throw out an elite
That
Elohi
might-
unit.
That might be for the best.
It definitely is for the best.
And this comes from the person that very happily ran his 2 hordes of vicious Elohi with
Oh,
Brewer
yeah.
strength.
This guy as well. But I think people just got
So
fed
is
up doing
is
it.
the dragon backing up there as well? Look at it.
I think this is the right play. I think
Yeah.
that is, if he's out of range
Yeah.
of the Trident King, I think that's the right play and get him involved in the game next turn.
And he is out, yeah. So he's out of range of
Yeah.
the king.
Yeah, or at the
I mean,
very
you've got
least,
another lightning
in
bolt
the
there.
front arc. Is what's the dragon's arc?
Yeah, click on the dragon. Ooh.
But I don't think he's in range with the Trident King.
Now, have
No.
both Palace Guard hordes got a charge this turn?
They do.
I know they're both hindered. I say send them both in now.
The only thing is, you just click on the left hand side Palace Guard Horde as well. Because of their charge range, the Dam Busters have got to avoid not landing into their charge range. I think they probably can do it, but that would be something
Oh,
that you
that's
would set
true.
past.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's true.
that's
True.
what I would look at.
Yeah. But I don't think he commits this turn. I honestly think he has to wait until his Dracons can threaten at least one turn later.
Exactly. What's he going to do by going in this turn? He doesn't have any.
I suppose my concern, if you don't, is that Paul's losing his support pieces and his flanking pieces and everything around it. And if you can hold Carl in one half of the board when your tokens have got effectively a clear run across, then you can push for those double points and avoid, deny it for your opponent. It's actually not the right move, but I just think it's getting damage on the board.
It's kind of unique because both of them are losing and gaining flanking support. Because Paul, if he waits, 1 or 2 more turns, he's going to have these Dracons eventually in the game. Whereas if Kyle, if he pushes, Kyle's right flank is going to clear up probably before the Dracons could come contribute.
Yeah.
So
And that's why you've got to have that dragon, I think, as the threat to stop him completely just spinning in on the middle.
right.
Because at the moment, the placoderms can't just march straight up into the other half. Admittedly, if he wasn't going to, if he does take the Dam Busters, we're not sure he's going to do that yet. But if he takes the Dam Busters into the archers, it's not going to matter either way anyway. But if he doesn't, then the archers can still gain 4 points. So for Paul to lose it, he would have to then lose the central token somehow. Because I think you could probably delay the placoderms enough. I think, but it's going to be touch and go.
And if he brings in the Palace Guard this turn, at least the one on the left, a double charge from the Dam Busters and the Gigas, I think has a good chance of killing him, especially with no Inspiring nearby.
Well, he can't double charge the Gigas.
I was thinking the other way around. So once the actual Palace Guard hit, then they will then be countercharged by the Dam Busters, and then possibly even like the Depth Horror Eternal. Although I think he's probably going into the Drakon Riders.
Right.
Um,
And then Kyle's Dam Busters can turn towards the archers, and they're going to be free for the rest of the game.
yeah.
So another 3 wounds. Nuka, that is all but gone.
Don't say it. Don't say it. He needs a 4 to kill it still.
I
Could go wrong.
So I'm
If he doesn't kill it, I could see him just flipping the table. I have to admit.
Oh, if he doesn't, that dragon is out the game for the rest of the game at that point, isn't he? By the time
Fair enough.
Probably, because you just run down the dragon with the Trident King.
yeah.
Because if the Knucker goes in, does another 2 or 3 wounds, the Trident King's easily going to be in waver range when he connects.
Yeah.
This is the lightning bolt into the Gigas. Oh, 3 wounds,
Yeah,
3
that's
damage.
pretty
Sorry.
Was it the Gigas? Oh, he did hit the Gigas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point going for the Eternal because the Eternal's -16, isn't he?
So do we think then with the archers that he's seen the move of the Dam Busters coming across? Because there's no shooting targets.
I think he did. Yeah, I think that threatening the Thunderous Charge down a hill into Dam Busters. Oh my
Is that
god.
double one? Oh,
Well,
Table flip incoming. It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
we
You
need
hate knockers before you start the fight, but newfound respect for hate.
However, I will point out that this isn't a 1-1.
Not quite. I'm sorry.
Was it 3 or a 4?
It's 1 away from a 1-1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he didn't waver, which is even more important. Because I think he would have been fine with a 3. He would have been frustrated, but he would have been fine.
Yeah, you'd be okay with a waiver there.
Because this entire play with the Dragon's ruined again, isn't it? Because the Knocker's just going to go in and go, sorry. Wait.
Well, potentially the dragon can still get around things. It can see a lot more now. It's going to be very restricted in what it can do.
Over, couldn't it? Oh, no, it couldn't because it's not.
4 wounds onto these River Guard.
Really.
Oh my god, another 1-1.
Oh, no.
Hey, what do we think? We got. Well, is it snake eyes or is it UB dice?
I would point out that that's 4 wounds that unit shouldn't have because those Stormwind.
That's
actually,
true.
yeah, so-
That's true. They should have been wavered.
Oh, so this is UB correcting their mistake, Oh
Yeah.
my god.
The vile cheating. Yeah.
He only did 1 wound to the Siren.
Well,
He was never going to kill it one shot. Was it 11-13, isn't she? So it would have been hard to kill it.
So the Dracons will be interesting here. All the
Yeah.
twos.
Well, that's decent. Yeah, 6 hits. Oh, god, 3 wounds. Well, here comes another 1-1.
Well, I was going to say his average so far has been it's higher because it's been 1-1, 2-2, 1-1, hasn't it? There you go.
He got him.
Is that Depth Fire inspiring, or did he just roll twice without needing to?
He probably rolled twice without needing to.
6 plus. Oh, I think. Yeah, they're wavered because he rolled a 15 on the first roll.
Oh,
I would be very happy with that. as Kyle.
Yeah.
You've got to feel for Paul. You've got to feel for him there.
Yeah.
These Dam Busters, can they see the Dracons? Are they in the front arc?
Okay.
Well,
or do you do what we've been saying?
I mean, yeah, that wasn't a great turn of rolls, was it? But
yeah.
I don't think. I mean, the dragon is more of an issue for him. I don't think the Dracons there are too much of a problem.
I think that, I mean, it is actually a problem because the Dam Busters didn't have any options this turn besides trying to get into position, which he's covered all of those potential positions. So I think he was
Yeah.
playing that he was going to kill that unit. It's
Well,
not
actually, the
as
Dambusters
big.
can now threaten the archers without. They don't have to do anything fancy now. They can just charge the Dracon's cat and then threaten the archers next turn.
Right.
The Dambusters
If they
definitely
do that,
kill.
the Horde.
Oh yeah, they've got the Palace Guard hard. He also
Yeah.
got the Eternal though, who could
Yeah, I'd throw the Eternal in and just gum them up, and then throw the Tree Leapers. The Dam Busters over, because even if they do kill the Dragon Riders, you're right, they'll get flanked by a Palace Guard horde, and two, they won't be close enough to the archers, and they'll be taking another 8 lightning bolts and some archer shots. It would be better just flying straight over the top. That is the one thing you don't have to worry about, is that he has got 8 lightning bolt and the archer shooting at him as he comes over the hill. And even if that doesn't kill you, the Dragon Riders being able to spin right round will be able to counter them. So it's going to be dicey.
I'm going to borrow Elliot's favourite word and say this is interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Honestly, it's a really good drinking game. If you watch me on live streams, every time I say the word interesting, take a sip.
So he's blocking off that charge with the depth horror character.
Yeah. I see that now. I was going to say interesting. What do you do? What do you use to grab the center token?
Yeah. Well, I think he still has his Trident King, although I don't know. I would rather see the Trident King go over to finish this dragon. But maybe he's going to run Ector over there to do that. Doesn't look like it.
Looks like the Trident King's going to start putting damage on hordes.
What turn are we on now, sorry?
I don't really like
Bottom
that.
of 3.
I guess he wants the Inspiring there to make sure they don't die to a potential one hit.
I mean, the only downside, of course, with flying the Dam Busters off is that as soon as it becomes one-on-one Gigas to Palace Guard hordes, you're not going to win that fight. As in, the Palace Guard will win that eventually, because they've only got 12 attacks of the Gigas. So if those Dam Busters do decide to go after the archers,
the thing is you need to charge both Palace Guard hordes, one into each of the Gigas, and even then, you're opening yourself up to a potential counter charge, or 2 units on one.
Yeah, he'll be able to get the Trident King in on one, and then his positioning with the Dam Busters, I think, will be to be able to see the Palace Guard.
And the defense
also, he's going to have those River Guard, which he'll have to devote the Lightning Bolt to finish him off this next turn.
Yep.
See, that's massive now with the dragon. Is the dragon able to back up and charge the king in the flank?
I don't think that's going to be front arc.
No, it's not.
But Ector might still be a target if he can make that wheel again.
I mean,
I know
turn 5 is going to be a big turn, because it's going to be turn 5 by the time the dragons arrive, and turn 5 by the time that dragon arrives.
Yeah,
is that when they arrive and nobody else is left? Hey, how's it going, guys?
But it's interesting, because where he's put the Trident King now, he does mean that at least the dragon at turn 5 will have fairly free reign, providing he doesn't turn the Trident King around again.
Yeah, there's nothing to counter the dragon once the Knucker's dead, is there really? Because everything else is just out of range.
I don't know if you saw that. He just did 6 wounds with the King, Trident King.
Oof. Onto the horde. Yeah.
Yeah, he needed 5s to hit.
Yeah, 7 hits. Yeah. Jeez.
If Kyle rolled double 6s there, I think Paul can just walk away.
All the units get deleted.
They're
22-24.
Okay, so they are fairly tanky, even though they're defense 4. But still, 6 damage is not a nice. Not a nice way to start the exchange.
That puts them just that much closer to these Gigas winning the grind.
Yeah, that's a round of combat from the Gigas.
So I think we're gonna, unless we see some more magic dice, I think you're gonna have Draken Rider Regiment dead, aren't you? You're going to have the Stormwind dead. So where does the Dragon Riders go now? Are they just going to continue their move right around the back?
So that's
Or do you think they could?
12 damage? Yeah, that should be dead. Dead Dracons. I don't know. I think you have to turn the Dam Busters towards the Palace Guard hordes to help out there, which means the Dracons can carry on swinging around the trees.
I don't think he has to. I don't like that. I don't think he has to fully commit because the River Guard were still engaged with that combat, even though they were wavered. So they should be able to get a reform.
No, they don't get a reform because they didn't charge in combat, so they have to stay where they are. But that's not too bad for them because they can leap over.
They get nudged.
Gotcha.
The world's most annoying Nooker. Gets another 3 damage.
3 more wounds.
Yep. 6 still.
Yeah. Are you ready? You wait for it.
Just
It's
do it.
happening.
I guess he only needs an 11, guys. He only needs an 11.
Yeah.
Twice. Yeah, what can happen?
That's just a waiver.
Okay.
Okay, well, in theory, that Nooker is dead next turn now.
3 more wounds on this Elven King.
I think it's 13, 15, I think, isn't it? So it's not.
Yeah, that puts him close.
Sounds right. That would do it once, and there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a nice pickup, is that?
Yeah.
It is.
He could have been useful. Even into the rear of the Gigas, for an extra few damage for the Palace Guard goals going in.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, actually. See, said it. Get your drink in.
I think it's interesting how Kyle's valuing, kind of forcing the issue with these Palace Guard over potentially threatening those tokens on the left-hand flank.
Yeah.
Because if he were to have overrun after killing the Drakon regiment, would he have potentially been able to get into range?
It's not just that he'd have got flanked by the horde if he'd have just made one slight mistake, either too far. If you roll a 6 and then all of a sudden they just spin and hit you in the flank.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Yeah, potentially.
I think what he's doing is he's essentially giving up on trying to get those archers, which I think.
So the Silver Breeze have died. The Stormwind have died. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's never really been a push to go get them, has there? I'm not saying that's necessarily the wrong move, but that is still just free
is it a
tokens,
case of
effectively.
securing the win rather than trying to go for the big win as well, isn't it? Because if you're thinking, I can't afford for the Palace Guard hordes to take up the token in the middle, I'd rather secure that than run the risk of taking out the archers and then being killed by the Drakon Riders. I can understand.
Yeah, because you only need to win by 1.
It's true. So I do like this now that we see the aftermath of the combat. His tree leapers are now within range of the dragon. So he's going to have to spend another turn lightning bolts to hit these tree leapers with that mage, which means that the mage isn't going to be inspiring the Palace Guard. And it's the biggest thing, I think, it's not contributing any Bane Chant to getting through those Gigas any faster.
Yeah, I think you almost have to, again, just hold off. Because I think that you're taking damage from the Trident King, but you've got to wait for those Dracons to arrive, don't you? And admittedly, the more the Gigas move forward, the more the further away they are going to be from the Dracons. I don't even know if they turn that corner and are able to reach them.
Yeah, it's true.
Are we sure it's turn 4? That feels wrong to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
I'm pretty sure it's right.
Yeah, top of
If you
4.
think about the dragon came down 1, moved again to go and breathe and fire. Got charged, backed off, and then started again. It's been such a, because I think what happened is that the first move by Paul put him on the back foot, and then he was racing forward. So remember the Stormwind Cavalry charged on turn 2, didn't they? Because they had that charge into the Three Leapers. So it's been so quick, really quick.
Yep. Because even though Kyle has a wall of kind of slow-moving defense 6, he actually has a lot of speed elements in his army. And it's just kind of overshadowed by the amount of speed that elves can bring to the table.
Okay, where are these Draken Riders going?
Again, into a bad position.
I miss Nimble so much.
Yeah, that's the
this,
best.
This is one of the times where, you've got to remember you don't have to pivot. You can pivot at any point of your move.
Yeah, because if they had Nimble, they would be into the center of the board straight away, threatening those placoderms at the back, wouldn't they? But
yeah.
Without it, they're just kind of going, well, this is the best case.
Yeah, absolutely. You go for those 2 tokens, wouldn't you? Because if you win that, you've got 4 points. Right? Well, you've won the game straight up.
So what range have those Drakons got now, though? Can they?
Still not good.
Well,
is it now at a point where you have to charge the Gigas, or risk them just wandering out of range of the Drakons that you've taken 4 turns to shuffle into the forest?
I think the issue is if you charge, the Gigas and the Dam Busters, when they countercharge, are going to be enough to kill the unit, and then they just turn to face the Drakons. And the Drakons don't want to run down into 3 units that are facing them.
One play I can see that Paul could possibly pull off and might change the game entirely is if he continues to threaten the back of the Gigas, but then puts himself in a position to charge those placoderms in the next turn, or even the turn after that. And if the dragon's still alive, because you can lightning bolt off those tree leapers now, and he gets those tokens, Paul wins. Because those placoderms die, there's nothing else to support. Admittedly, it's got Ector over there, which is spanner in your works, but it's a play.
Just a small Ector shaped spanner.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Ector does take out the dragon, if the dragon's able to take out the placoderms first, then no one's picking up those tokens. That's still a win for Paul.
Yeah.
Except for that Trident King.
Yeah, the Trident King would have to be put into a position to threaten the Drakons. It would be right. But then it depends on what he sees. If he only doesn't angle it correctly, then the Drakons could get that maneuver in, but then could get wind blasted off by Ector anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then the way it works here, you get 1 wound and wave at them.
He is charging the Depthori Eternal.
Yay! Oh, the Eternal.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that at all. Is that flank?
I like it. He has to gamble.
Is it a flank? Is it there?
No, it's front.
It's front.
Oh, but that's ensnare and hindered.
Yeah.
It is.
He doesn't kill that. I was going for. Oh, I don't like that either.
No, I don't like this.
No,
that one was not. Yeah.
They're both hindered. One's ensnare. That horde doesn't. It's fearless 16. Is that Eternal? There's no way that's dying there. And are the Palace Guard horde? Are the Dambus in the flank of the Palace Guard horde?
No, they're in the front.
No, that's a front.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's don't like it. What about the king?
Can the River Guard see the?
Oh, the Trident King's in the flank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
nimble.
Yeah, that'll hurt. Can the River Guard see the? Can they see anything?
The tree leapers.
Or tree leapers. I'm sorry.
Can they see the front of the Palace Guard? Ooh.
Yes,
They can.
Jeez.
that's a lot coming that way.
Again, you've got lightning bolt and archers there, but
Okay. I don't know. It might work in terms of if those Palace Guard can survive 1 turn, and he concentrates on those, and he can get the Draken Riders into a good position on the placoderms. Strangely enough, it looks bad, but it means that he's then distracted and too far away to influence.
so it's just on the 1 damage on the
1 wound.
tree leapers.
It's all he
It's a
needs.
4 to waver. Yeah.
You need 6. He's not inspired.
So where's he going to put the lightning bolt 8 then? Yeah, and that's the right choice.
I would
I'll put
rather
the
have seen his archer shoot first.
Oh,
Should that not have been cover?
2 hits. Well, that's his elite roll as well in there. So
Yeah.
Right.
just the 1 damage again.
1 wound again.
So you got two units both on 10.
Yeah.
Archers
But-
are still-
Yeah, archers can potentially help here. 2 elites. So 3 hits. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
See,
All he,
Archers
needs
winning
to
the
do
day.
is, all he needs to do is double ones it again.
Paul's going to watch his
Both
back
the
and go,
archers.
"Oh, good God! Why did I have to go through that?"
So that's broken.
That's one of
Yeah.
them, yeah.
One.
Another one.
That's fine.
Oh, fine.
No.
The poor dragon.
That dragon.
Oh,
Oh, 'cause the dragon-
Oh, that.
Can the
That
dragon
really sucks.
back up far enough after it kills this?
but
No,
what
'cause
did
he's
it do?
11.
I suppose you-
Oh, that's 7. Oh, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the reach. So he's going to eat a
Ah.
charge, and then placoderms are going to come up right behind that.
Yeah. Okay, so turn 6, the dragon might be free to do something.
Just delay
If it's
another
alive.
turn. That's all. Just delay.
Well, to be honest, there's still a chance to double one in this snooker
Don't
as well.
say things like that. Come on, give him. Yay!
Oh!
Yeah.
It's got to be a comment coming in here, like, finally.
Finally,
Damn,
four
Knuckles.
won it all game for Nerve.
See, I'd almost be tempted with the dragon here to turn him maybe slightly more kind of 90 degrees, only so that if the like that, so
Yeah,
that if the tree
so
leapers
that-
do go
so that-
in,
You've got a potential of sneaking out.
Yeah,
Exactly,
if he
yeah.
pushes the placoderms up too far, and still
Oh,
with the
never mind.
mark.
it stops the placoderms from going too far. I think that was the important thing.
Yeah,
But he's changed his mind.
I can't.
I agree with you. It was a good move, but he's changed his mind.
Also, I think that backing up would still not be a bad play, because what he's looking at here is the placoderms are going to have to come in behind the tree leapers. But if he moves it to where the placoderms are out of a 2-turn charge threat, then that would be huge.
So student 7.
Before.
Snake eyes
Still
again.
needs a,
Oh!
another one.
How did
I mean,
That's
He
what I
needed
call
a big roll.
it. It's not a true double ones, but
I'm giving it. It was still snake eyes.
that
How many
is,
is he up to now? Is he up to 4 or 5? He's
4 now, I think. Is it?
so that's 16 hits. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
And
4
4
damage.
That's probably not doing anything.
Oh, well,
Huh?
it's
Reroll.
And then, oh yeah, no.
ooh.
I think
is
I
that-
killed.
Ooh.
Are they 14,
Are they
16?
15.
They're 15-7.
Oh.
They're wavered.
Not that it's going to make a big difference, but yeah.
That does make a difference because
Yeah,
I don't
quite
know
a
if
difference actually.
Even
Even in
the flank can do
No,
it
it's-
as a turn.
What, 24 attacks? threes
only
and
24
twos?
attacks.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
you remember
Yeah,
they're 22-24 nerve.
Yeah,
He's
and he
going to
won't
be able to
get
get
the
the
Trident King in as well.
No, he
The
won't.
Trident King
because-
can flank the other one.
Yeah, you have to kill the leftmost unit, in my opinion.
Isn't it one of those
So-
situations where the Trident King could get in because he would just you put the final position of the Gigas and then the Trident King would get in.
Because I think the Trident King's in the front.
I know
Yeah,
there's a
I think
list.
We're saying Trident King flanks the leftmost unit.
Yeah, I think so.
Here we go then. Well, you'd bet these tree leapers are now going to one-shot a dragon. Well, not one-shot a dragon.
Well,
but
I was just about to say, what are the odds actually of them wavering that dragon at least? Because it's 12 attacks, falls and falls.
Yeah.
So should do 3 damage.
Oh,
I don't think this is a legal charge because he has to maintain contact with the corner that he hits.
as if there was enough room there. There might have
Yes.
been enough room.
Yeah.
Just on that very tip there might be enough room. That's sneaky.
I don't think he'll be able to.
Yeah, because
I don't think so, but it's close.
Yeah, it would have been pretty great. See, that's poor positioning on Kyle's part. He should have had his Gigas on the rightmost flank a little bit further over to make sure that he could get that.
Yeah, but you can't really plan that stuff, can you?
Why not?
He should have thought like 3 turns ahead here. Come on.
Yeah.
A millimeter precision.
Yeah.
The question is whether he spotted that the Trident King can flank. Because the fact he's backing those Gigas out of combat like that would be blocking the Trident King.
I think he's more concentrated on taking them out, isn't he? Or what's he trying to do there?
So I think
is he
he
trying
might be
to get
looking at his final position for those before he moves the charges on the left unit. Which I think what he did is definitely a good position because he's forcing the Dracons to charge the front of that unit, which is still probably a dead Giga, but it's definitely not as tempting.
Can we see the range on those Dracons? Because I don't think they're actually threatening all that much in that fight.
They, I think, got up to the corner of the Gigas right now.
A little bit further past the corner.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's seeing if he can get them out of charge range of the Dracons. But then that'll be a hindered charge, so I wouldn't... Well, they're already on 7. I don't know.
The Dracons have got the boot to striding, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Ignore me, I don't know what I'm saying.
It's a great item on Dracons.
It is, yeah. So which way are they facing?
Great item, full stop.
Are they facing to the left or the
They
right?
are facing to the left, yeah, because they're backed up and turned, I think, yeah.
If you
I
take
think
his
he's just absolutely taking a look to see where he can position before he finishes the move, because, yeah. And I think Paul was going to the bathroom, so... Yeah.
My move for me would still be to take those tree leapers and go after the tokens. Just go for the archers.
So he didn't see the flank with the Trident King, or he's choosing not to take it.
I would be taking that flank.
I absolutely would too.
Yeah. I'm not sure what his play is with the Trident King now. Now he just shuffled him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can get some unique charges into this, which I think
He's trying to take the odds on that horde, isn't he?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I kind of feel that you take out the one on the left. The one on the left is the one that's the problem.
Exactly.
You take that out, everything can turn towards the centre, and those Dracons are neutralised. And even if he doesn't break the Palace Guard in the centre,
he's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's got to get through 2 hordes of Gigas before it's free.
So I think he's kind of gambling. I think he's delayed long enough, and I think this is actually a good play by Kyle. He's feeling the pressure that these Dracons are coming in. Next turn, this Dragon potentially will have the ability to come in, depending on what he does with the Placoderms.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get wavered.
So, yeah.
That Dragon doesn't get luck.
Hands down. So I think he's just playing, it's not terrible odds that he will be able to essentially, kill both of these hordes.
So he's sent the Trident King in along with the Knuckers into the front.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, probably does tip it over into a one-shot.
Yeah. And also he has the Siren here that can contribute a drain life into that unit.
Potentially. She's only speed 5, isn't she, I think? So there's only like 11-inch range.
Yeah, I think she has
where is she? Oh, I'm thinking it's the one on the...
No, that's
she's active.
Oh my god, the Trident King doesn't have Pathfinder.
Yeah, he's one of the few who doesn't. Yeah.
That's the king of the underwater realms, and he's just like, no, I don't like water.
Oh, this has got grass in it. Oh, I don't like that. So I was just thinking, what are we going to be asking the guys when they come back? Well, we can't ask Paul, can we? So it's going to be more asking Kyle. I guess we want to know whether he saw that kind of move to get to the kindred archers. And also, did he know that he had such resilient knuckers that they could just survive lightning bolts for days? Dragons, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
So Kyle's trying to get to where this Trident King isn't hindered. Honestly, I think Kyle may have actually done an illegal move. He disengaged with the wavered Gigas and backed up an inch further after that, and then he pivoted and moved forward after that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
Did he move forward or did he?
I know he's facing. I think it's his rear facing. His rear is facing to the left-hand side, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
Okay. To the dragons.
Yeah. You're correct. I did not see that.
That's ballsy.
It is ballsy, but as I said, I don't think that's the play. I still think the Dracons over onto the right-hand side are the way to go.
Yeah, go for the tokens. I agree. Actually, I think that you're not going to win in that fight in the middle now. So just don't engage.
Yeah, you're just chaffing them
delay
up
them as
with
much as you can and take the Dracons after those placoderms. Pincer between you, in theory, a live dragon.
Yeah, I mean, what else would you ask Carl as well? Because I think pretty much everything is kind of he's worked well in just pressuring them back in the middle, and then just allowing the Dracons to take their time coming around the side. But everything else seems to have just been reactionary to what Paul was doing.
So they have just had a discussion about the Trident King going in and whether they were counting the whole footprints of the swamp there, or with the roots that are sticking outside. And they've just agreed that it's just the actual swamp itself, not the roots. So the Trident King is not hindered.
Oh, really? Is he not under any of it there? Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, some of this terrain is difficult.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I tend to when you're searching on UB, if you look at Swordmasters versions of the map packs, I always find they're best because they're really clear of what everything is and where it is. Some of them have got a bit more odd things here and there, like roots sticking out.
Right. See, the problem that I've got here with these two Palsgard hordes is I don't think either of these are reliable kills.
Well, he has
6 damage
frogs on the tree leapers still over on the left, and those the dam busters, and those dam busters are brew of sharpness dam busters.
Still not the 6 damage on will help a lot. And there's also no inspiring around there.
Exactly. Neither of these hordes are inspired.
Yeah.
But if either survive, that will be a fairly...
If he can get the waivers, he'll be happy. He'll be happy with that, I think.
Yeah. It would actually, yeah. If either of those survive on the counter charge, they can do a real number on any of Cal's units. So this will be, and I'm going to say it again, a very interesting next turn here. Both of them, really.
Ooh. Kyle's just running forward with the placoderms.
I think that's the right move because what will happen is the dragon kills the are they tree leapers? Yep. Dragon kills the tree leapers. That turns to face the placoderms. What they do is shuffle forward slightly, turn 90 degrees to face the dragon.
Yeah.
And the dragon's hindered.
Also, have you seen where Hector is now? Just shutting down the Dracons from
just right on the board.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, come to say hi.
A big 10-inch zone of nope.
Well, and is Hector in range to wind blast these Dracons?
Ran at a double. Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. He couldn't quite do it.
That would be horrific if it could blow him out the trees. Yeah, all those turns were setting up and then just nope.
But that comes back to what I was saying earlier about wind blasters. It's really difficult to justify your list because you look at it and it's like, yeah, but I could take lightning bolt, which always does damage. But in this situation, if he'd had a wind blast that could tap those dragons, that would have been
So 4 from the Eternal. Ooh.
Yeah.
They're on 2s out there, so it's
8. Yeah, so they're on 18.
only 8.
So he needs a 6 one time.
Yeah.
And I don't think he said he used the. Nope, that's a waiver.
No. Oof.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
So
These low rolls have had a big impact, haven't they?
I have.
yeah.
How did
So
that
that's
happen then? How somebody got in?
That's the Dam Buster's gone next turn then.
Yep, should be.
Yeah, because I don't even think there's anything. If he kills this unit, there's nothing that can go over and threaten.
What's this?
So what's
Was
that?
that the
5 damage?
That's the
From
king,
the
isn't
king.
it?
Mhm.
Good start.
You only got
Wait.
1 damage with the siren as well with the drain life.
Oh,
Ooh.
So that's another 12, isn't it? Yeah.
So
yeah,
16.
that's not as bad as it looked.
18.
18.
Another 6.
Just done.
That gets him.
Is
That's
it?
it.
Yeah.
Now the Trident King can't do anything.
No, he's fairly wedged in there now.
I would be tempted to back him up and send the Gigas forward.
I'd 180 him. I think I'd 180 him.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too.
I suppose it's where the
Dragon Riders don't
Draco-
have anywhere to land then. Yeah.
I think the Dragons are going to go into the Dam Busters. Whether it's the right move or not, I'm not sure, but I think they probably will.
They
don't
don't
think
have much
there's-
options.
I don't think there's a
The other
counter.
option, of course, for the Dracons is to go into the Gigas and pick that token up, and really force him to engage with the Dracons.
Well, the Gigas, remember, are facing to the right-hand side of the board. So I think
Yeah,
if
so the rear charge there.
if he goes into the Dam Busters, there's no counter charge from any of Kyle's units.
No.
Also, if he goes into the what they called into the Gigas, then he's going to be presenting the back to the Dam Busters.
So the
Yeah.
Dragon took damage but didn't waver.
Dragon's fine.
Oh,
Nothing.
nada.
Surely on to next turn. That Dragon will be free. So
I think the archers have got to move down. They've got to make a run for it.
Yep, they
and
gotta
then
start moving.
If he can
Well, the
deny
other
that
one-
token in the middle, he could get a draw. So if he can just deny it, that's all he's got to do.
I honestly think the play here is to grab that token with the Dracons.
But if he grabs the token, then the Dracons will die. They will die to the return. I think it'd be better if he just stands over the top of the
from where?
token. Well, the Dam Busters will come back.
The only charge that'd be taking that turn would be the
Raven.
Gigas in the front.
Ray from the Dam Busters.
The
Because the
Would
Dam
it be an
Busters
app?
would move back an inch.
Yeah.
Trident King and the Gigas could counter if he charges the rear of the Gigas to pick up the token.
Right,
The
okay.
Trident King couldn't.
Did the
but
Trident
the-
King spin round, or is he still facing?
He's
North.
facing back.
Facing the
Missing
bottom.
south.
Okay.
Right, okay, I see. Yeah, they could, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
they do
think-
that.
I think positioning-wise, the Dracons are going to have to be further down because the Palace Guard where they're positioned.
I don't think so.
But the problem Paul has otherwise, though, is that this turn, on Carl's next turn, he's going to pick that token up in the middle.
Which one's he going for?
He's going for the Dam
What's he- oh,
Busters.
He's going for the shiny charge. I mean, you can't.
I think that's right.
You can totally understand why. It's there and it's shiny and it's
It's the safest one.
yeah, and it's the unit that's been really giving you grief all game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it just feels justified that the Dracons are killing the nimble flyers.
Yeah, that's it. We got you in the end. Haha, we knew we would.
Is he shuffling them sideways?
He
He's
is.
trying
That's
to
pretty shoot.
He wants to get a couple shots off still. So he's looking at if he
As long as they calculate it right.
runs.
He's got lightning bolt there. Just use the lightning bolt if you want shots.
Yeah, there you are, Paul.
Four shots.
Just
Do
run.
that.
The Archers have already done like 4 damage. They've done more damage than they should have done all game.
You can just hear them shuffling to the side and the mage shouting over, going, "You've been nerfed in version 3, run!"
You got to get that extra value. I mean, elite shooting, you got to shoot.
But we've got bows, we're elves. Run! Okay.
I mean, the lightning bolts, I suppose, go on the Eternal here.
Yeah, for sure.
Is
Because
the Palace Guard Horde safe here then? Can you see it?
I think he has the ability to back up to 4 inches. So if the Gigas can't see, then Kyle's going to have to spend some shooting on it.
Yeah.
Which Ector could probably do it, or the Siren.
There's a good point. The Dracons aren't going to be countercharged there, are they? There's
No.
nothing to get them. If he could get a lucky lightning bolt maybe into the Gigas and try and either wound them or waver them. But even then, they're still going to be able to pick up the token. It's not going to be a big issue.
Honestly, I think they're fine where they are because they're in the way of everything there.
Right, don't kill him. I think right now Paul's actually in a really good position going into the last turns here, because he's going to have his dragon free, barring another double one.
You said it this time, not me.
Yeah, so it's not going to happen. So
Definitely not going to happen.
So if he goes into position to threaten the Drakons, which are going to likely turn to the rest of the army, he has 1 hammer on each side facing a rear of something.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if you answered this while I wasn't looking, but Size asked again, connect to get into the Dracons.
Good question.
What's his speed?
No.
Speed 5.
Speed 5.
No.
Can you imagine if Ector flew? It'd be a great day.
This is lightning bolting the Siren, I think. That's what he's doing.
All right.
So if he gets a good, she admittedly could weakness the dragon or the Dracons next turn.
Only 10-12, I think, isn't she, as well? So
Yeah, so a potential waiver too mitigates that threat from killing your Palace Guard as well.
Is that 2 wounds onto the Deptor Eternal?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he needs a 7.
Yeah, got it. No.
But it's not. Oh, he's inspiring to himself.
He is.
yes, because he inspires that Thor, yeah.
What's that? Is that a 12 and then a 10?
So it's a waiver, right?
Don't know.
Surely it's 11-13, not 10-12.
She is 11-13. 1.
Ah.
What is it? 1. I mean, Paul just he's got to go. He really has been kicked in the nuts.
Oh, the 9 was the first roll on the Siren, so that's going to be a waiver.
Good call.
I need to re-roll.
Good.
Yes, so that'd have been a 12. Yes, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't me who brought it up. That was Skylar brought that up.
That's a nice opponent. There you go. I don't think it matters, but he's a nice opponent. So yeah, I mean, top of 5, aren't we? So we've got 1 more turn. Is there any way he can't? Is there a way he could lose this? I just don't see it.
Who?
Well, it's
Paul.
Kyle? Yeah, there's definitely ways Kyle loses this. I actually like Paul's position better right now.
Really?
I think I do, strangely.
Yeah. I do.
In the scramble for tokens at the end, because, I mean, it's potentially, I think the draw is the most likely situation here at the moment.
Oh, there they go. There goes the tree leapers.
Yeah. So the
I don't
Dragon's
know
free.
about that. I think it's going to be whoever that middle token is what's going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think
there's going to be
turn 5,
Dracons that can't.
somebody's going to pick it up turn 6. And it's going to come down to, can Kyle kill it on turn 6? And if there's a turn 7. I think if it goes 7, that favors Kyle just because he has more units on the board.
Yeah.
I think the Siren wavering could be quite key as well, because that could make the difference in one of those combats.
Yeah, a weakness from the Siren would have been clutch.
Yes, double one it. Don't roll it out.
No. I mean,
That's what I mean, roll it out.
Of all places
It's on UB.
of all places where it doesn't actually matter how long it takes, it's
Type
UB.
in there, roll it, you swines.
Always roll it.
Always roll it.
Please count your elite rolls
Okay, you got 47 hits, but you don't know this could go wrong.
Yeah, 46 ones.
Don't say that. How many ones you got anyway? Ooh!
Got him, but
Solid
very
ones, isn't it? Yeah.
inspiring. Very inspiring from the team.
Oh, look
Oh.
at that! Smashed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that.
There's
They
the
didn't
nerf.
even,
I
they didn't even
said
use the
it.
frogs.
No, but even if he used the frogs last turn, it would have still been a waiver against the horde.
Yeah.
I think he absolutely should have done them, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dead. Well put, Kyle.
I've always said that
EEAD.
people jump far too readily to. Should we just double one? And you'd be surprised how often it doesn't actually get to the state where it's
No.
double one.
Now,
I
this is
think
going to be a
Dragon
situation where,
in the rear is usually a state of double ones, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but-
people quite often say it with war engines, and war engines are very rare the double ones.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the
Now-
thing is, people do it too readily. And yeah, okay, that's the extreme example where yes, that's going to be a double one, but it's those middle grounds, and I think people's perceptions of how likely it is that something's going to be a double one is a bit too far, and people need to be less open about. Oh, just double one it. No, roll it.
Can
Roll
you
it.
can you give us the range on these Dracons?
Far.
This is going to be a time, I think, where the
No, it's not
nimble
far enough.
on the Gigas is going to be massive, because they can do a full 180 now, spin to get, and then effectively stand in front of the Dracons and have the other horde come in and grab that token.
And block off the charge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
he's giving up a flank charge to the dragon. Or a rear charge, I'm sorry.
end of the range. I think it looks a bit far. That
Be out of range, quite
The
far.
game's
Yeah.
over if he doesn't take out the placoderms anyway, so he has to take the placoderms.
No, he doesn't have to. He has to play for this middle single token.
I
I
think
would
so. Yeah,
not
I think you have to ignore the placoderms now.
Yeah.
It's going to make it tough then, because he needs to take out 2 gigahordes, doesn't he?
He does, but if he pincers, it's more than doable.
Yep, a little wind blast maybe, a little bit of wind blast, a little bit of shooting. But the thing is, because they're untouched, aren't they, the Dracon Riders? That's
Yeah.
So the Depth Hour Eternals charge the Palace Guard Horde, so him surviving that lightning bolt has sort of sealed the fate of the Palace Guard Horde.
It was definitely big.
Yeah.
Do you know if he ends up losing this because he didn't go for those Kindred Archers after all?
For all we said. It's
Yeah,
tricky whether that was the right play or not. I think it.
He had the opportunity, instead of charging the Palace Guard on the far left, he could have chaffed it up with the Eternal and then flew over the building like we were talking all game to threaten those.
Yeah.
And the Dracons, I don't think were in a position to really come back to help.
Not at that
That's
point,
true.
no. It would have taken another 2 turns to come around. I think you would have probably had to, at some point, survive one front charge from the Dracons.
Yeah.
Which is dicey. And it's not.
But the Dragons wouldn't be in the centre here grabbing the token.
No.
That's true. Yeah, because if you put the pressure there, then you have this right flank more readily sealed.
I think at the time, I mean, in retrospect, it's always easy to say what he should have done. I agree. In retrospect, that's probably what he should have done. But I think at the time, I agreed that staying in the centre here was the better call. Personally,
I mean, Kyle's not in a bad position here at all, is he? Because he's still got the that Trident King can grab that token and not be in a risk of being charged. So I think to be honest, if he does that, then doesn't Paul need a turn 7 to get the token?
yeah.
Depends on what this Giga Horde does. Because if the Giga Horde goes down to the Dracon Riders, can the Dragon see the Trident King? He can, because of the wood's not.
I think he can see him. I don't know if
But
he's
it's the range.
Is he out of 20?
Why is he not
You
going
can't
for the
see.
token?
Because what he's going to do is put the Giga Horde in front of it, I think. That's why he moved out backwards, so that he could spin the Giga Horde around, because he needs to clear each turn, doesn't he? and then move it forward so that the Dragon Riders.
Why is the king going there? Somebody needs to grab that token.
I think he's going to want to shoot the dragons. So he's
Yeah,
going to
we-
shoot with his Trident King if it was in range.
But you could have shot still and grabbed
Yeah.
the token.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have definitely moved this middle Giga Horde forwards. Oh, he's already on shooting. Yeah, I'd have definitely moved them past the token.
Have they spun around, or are they?
Yes.
So those gigas, those dragons now, when they charge, and then if they kill them sidestep, they grab that token and win the game.
I think they can charge them and pick it up
Yeah.
where they are.
Ah!
Did he shoot with the Trident King as well? Did he actually get a shot at the Dragon Riders?
I don't think the Trident King was in range,
No.
Okay.
So for
which
what?
is weird.
Odd.
He definitely could have done better there, I think.
Yeah, that was a very weird turn.
Yeah, it was strange because you've got the advantage of the additional units that you're not using here.
Yeah, so Kyle, I guess he's only focusing on this middle token, and he's saying if you go pick it up, which you have to this turn, I'm setting up as many counter charges as I possibly can.
So this is going into Paul's 6. I suppose my issue there is that you're putting that your dice have to go well. When you didn't need to do that, you could have made it so you just had it.
He's
Right.
going for the Siren, is he?
And honestly, I would have rather seen Ector, instead of wind blasting, double move to block off the bottom corner.
Dragon's on Siren.
Looks like it. They've got boots. I mean, admittedly, they're not going to one-shot that Giga Horde, I don't think.
Why does nobody want to pick up the token?
That's not the game. We don't play it that way, no.
But then that's definitively game there if he does that.
I think so.
Are we missing something?
Yeah.
I think what he's trying to do is he going to try and breathe on the... No, he can't reach the Giga Horde, the Wounded Giga Horde, can he?
Are they playing it that it's not a loot token, but it's an objective?
They could be.
Maybe.
One of the previous...
That still doesn't give him a win
Well,
or a
it makes-
still on 3 inches. Isn't he? No.
Well, Kyle has a turn 6 still, so
Yeah. Surely Paul's only play here now is to charge. And I know you're going to take a lot of counter charges.
It is tough. I know it is tough because Be right. You want to protect the token. So if you can get onto that, kill it, and then he has to kill you in return. And don't forget that if you can spin, the Trident King and the Gigas aren't Pathfinder, are they? So he can probably get his advantage. So at least one of them is going to be hindered. And that could be all the difference.
So I think that what Paul might be looking at here is if he doesn't charge the unit with 6 wounds on it, he has 2 lightning bolts, mages that can get into a position to hit it.
So they're asking for I think it's the charge on the Siren. Is it?
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, so you just have to. Oh no, because he has to do 2 turns, doesn't he?
Yeah, he comes to you.
Yeah,
so you have to land in a
they're not
position.
nimble, so you can't possibly do it.
Yeah, since the Dracons aren't nimble, he can't.
Because they would need to turn to the bottom, and then
now
to the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
A nimble flyer could have possibly pulled that charge off, but a non-nimble one couldn't.
If anything, that's possibly going to force him to do the correct thing.
And then he loses the game anyway. It's correct, but
I
No,
guess
I don't see any other play for him, though. That's the thing.
you know what? I don't think it loses because he kills this Depth Horror Eternal with the lightning bolt. I mean, hopefully, you never know with his lightning bolt. But you charge in and kill the Gigas, pick up the token, and then you can pivot in such a way that both the Gigas and the Trident King are going to be hindered when they charge the front of the dragons. And then you set up your dragon to have a very strong countercharge if you go a turn 7.
Yeah, exactly. You send the dragon straight past the placoderms, sit
Yep.
him somewhere around here,
Mhm.
and if
Looks like he's going for it.
Oh,
oh,
Well, it's interesting. So,
hindered
because
phalanx.
Size just asked that. So, I mean, it's Size put 4s and 3s. It's actually 5s and 3s, isn't it? Because it's phalanx and ensnare.
Actually,
Oh, no, it's not. It's not ensnare.
not in snare. So only 4s.
And phalanx doesn't stack with hindered, does it? So
Correct.
Nope.
But
Doesn't.
what they
that's
know,
not
what they
actually
know-
awful, is it?
What is there now? 14, 16?
14, 16. And if there is a turn 7,
Sure.
ballsy. I like it.
but you know what? I think those placoderms have a good chance of taking the dragon.
The
They
yeah.
do,
They're
but
on
I
5s to
suppose.
wound. They're on 5s to wound. It's
But
still
at this stage, why not? You've also got a Bane chant from the wizard.
That's true.
Would you not
Either-
use the
unless
wizard
you-
to try and wait for the siren again? Because you would possibly, because the siren could
Pick up the
nullify
loot.
it.
He has it. Oh my gosh! Somebody picked
Yay!
There's another one there. There's two.
Yeah.
They did the thing. Oh.
So at the minute, you're right. Paul is winning, despite the fact that he has very little
Yeah.
left.
But all has to happen now is dice to go badly or double one or something. But at least if things go wrong, you win now, rather than before. If things go wrong, you lose.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
holding the
So-
token is always better.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth the Bane chant onto the placoderms this turn, because the odds of killing them is so low.
Yeah, very low. And they're also inspired from the trident.
I think you have to take out the siren, because the siren is going to contribute drain life into the dracons if you don't.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's
He's
your
going to
win.
bring the dragon. That's what he's doing.
Go for it.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't
he
matter.
But, you know.
No. Should more rows in there, shouldn't there?
So where's the other lightning bolt going on to then?
Depth
Oh, the Eternal. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good shot.
6 hits.
6
That
hits.
should be a toasted Eternal, surely.
2 wounds.
Defense 4, so it's
We should stop using that should be. All right, that's another thing to drink. Should be.
Is it defense 4 or is it defense 3?
He got
Defense 4.
The Eternal.
Defense 4.
Or is it higher than a horde? A depth or a horde, yeah.
He's got it. That's fine.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Drum roll, please.
I'm sure he
Good,
popped a strider this turn. So
He's saying 3s, so
3s and 4s. Yeah,
yeah, using Shred.
yeah, good time to use it.
Yep.
Technically it's supposed to declare it in the charge, but there we go.
I'm sure he set it to his
Yeah.
computer.
With the elite reroll, he's going to be on.
11, so 12 hits,
Exact average without elite.
6 wounds. So
There you go. Bang on the mean.
That should blast straight through them, surely. 4 wounds. Was it?
should be
6
6
wounds. Oh, that's going to be interesting because that.
Hang on, no, he's corrected
Are you
it.
on 4s?
Aren't you hitting on 4s? No, these guys aren't in snare, are they?
Oh, does it?
No, as in I think he's saying aren't you on 4s to wound.
Oh, and he's one
So it's
short
6.
again. One
he?
short of the break because he's got 12 wounds plus 4. He's got 16. It's 15, 17.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
a
wave
waiver.
of the giggers. Oh,
Yeah, either way, it's wavered.
If anything,
No, it is.
that'd be a really good thing because it's
that
going to.
better? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
No,
good
One
thing.
thunder one, yeah.
He's going to get. Oh no, because they're wavered, aren't they? They're going to get in the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
So Kyle here has been a very good opponent and pointing out that he's more dead than. So 6 wounds brings him to 12, but yeah, even with still only a 16. Are they the ones with the stain stone? Are they okay?
They are staying stone, so they're a 16, 17.
So
Right. So they are
what did the
wavered.
dragon do?
So they've gotten wavered twice, being a staying stone.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so
better.
the dragon now.
A wave
Yeah,
there is
that's-
perfect.
That's very good.
Because he's going to really struggle to get anything else in at this point.
2
Although
elites.
they are nimble. So
Really? Yeah, plus the
He's not going to get everything in though.
4 wounds.
Just double sixes twice, no big deal.
Nope.
Not quite.
But he's not in an awful position for a turn 7.
I think he's in a very good position for a turn 7 now. That way,
Well, the waiver there is huge. Yeah.
I think Paul wants this to end turn 6.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. But turn 7 isn't game
That waiver
over.
may be a problem. I agree. I mean, the nimble helps here, but it only helps to get one of them in. Still, I think.
Yeah, I think he'd have to back the Trident King off, which means that he's not joining in the combat.
That's true.
And then
With one hindered Giga Regiment, a horde, with 12 attacks. That's not much, really, is it?
No.
Not
I mean,
great.
there's a drain life there, and there's a...
The Drakons aren't inspired.
No.
So Spike can
But
do it.
this is what I mean. He has the token, and something has gone his way. And all of a sudden, things look very different, don't they? Oh, we've lost John.
Yeah, what does Kyle do here?
It was 2 tenths for him. I think you, as Nick said, you've got to back away with the Trident King. We all know that Hector will come in and smash the Dracons.
That's true. Hector will win.
That is very true, actually. Yeah. Yeah, see, that doesn't work there. So you need to be, and this is where the issue comes in, doesn't it? Of the wider footprint on those those figures. If only Mantic had made smaller models.
So, what did actually happen with the dragon? He only caused 4 damage, didn't he?
4 damage, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, he's got to back the Trident King up, which means that's not getting in.
So, mathematically, is it actually better for him to just shoot? Because he has the Trident King's 12 shots with piercing. It looks like the Dracons won't have cover. He'll have the Drain Life, and then Hector can Wind Blast, push.
Possibly,
doesn't get the token.
You can't Wind Blast him, sorry, because it's holding the token.
Ah, true. But
And
still,
also you get the token.
for potential killing. Well, yeah, do you Wind Blast him and then hope for a turn 7 to be able to pick up the token? Because right now we're looking at, Hector's 6 attacks and at most a hindered Giga in the front.
Can it not just sidestep the Giga? Does that not get them enough? Because it only gets them 2.5 inches, doesn't it? So that's not enough.
They're wavered.
So
they can't sidestep. Yep, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a Drain Life. He's got the Hector. And he's got those...
But as Nick says, if you're not killing him in combat, you're not getting the token. And so, do you shoot and play for a turn 7, or do you charge, which is probably not as effective, but play for the ending on this turn?
You've got to play for the win on turn 6, haven't you? You've got to go for it.
I think you have to charge this turn, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they're on...
It doesn't stop you shooting next turn.
Did you say that these guys are on one of the top tables?
This is table 4.
Yeah, you go for the win.
But both of these are have undefeated so far.
Yeah, I go for a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Take
Go
the
for a
charge.
long win over an easier draw.
I don't think he has 15 wounds. Oh, that 3 is on the Siren.
Yes, the 3 is on the Siren.
Yeah.
Got to make sure the Siren's still within 6 as well.
And can see. One of the Gigas are short, aren't they?
The Gigas are tiny.
They're on a wide base.
So what are the odds on this? We were talking because it's going to be 4s for the Gigas, isn't it? And it's going to be
6 hits, and then 3s are vicious. So it's 4 to 5 damage plus whatever Drain Life gets on. To be honest, if Drain Life does a few,
I don't really like this positioning from Kyle though, because right now, if there is a turn 7, he's also hindering what could potentially charge in on a turn 7.
Yeah.
With his Trident King being over there, his Gigas are pretty much handcuffed into having to just sidestep to back out to make room. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't believe Paul is in such a good position coming into like turn 6.
Well, that
Turns
was
out he
With all the
knew
five
that play
as
all
well.
along.
that was what
4
we were
double
talking
ones.
about.
Oh.
That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about, though, is that his Dragon and Drakon, his flanking units, needed to come in and support. So I think he actually committed a turn too soon with the Palace Guard hordes, because if he had waited one more turn and had these units or these elements here, I think it would be a little bit of a different game.
But then
I
again,
suppose that if he hadn't have charged them in, he wouldn't have held the units in place to be charged by the Drakons, would they? They'd have just moved out of range.
Right.
the Drakons in particular, I think if we were to say what he should have done differently,
happened
it
with
was
Dragon.
the Draken Horde.
Yeah.
Between the buildings rather than right.
Right. Drakon Horde took the scenic route in this game.
Yeah.
But it's
The
paid
dragon.
dividends.
Wave of the dragon.
Oh, poor Dragon.
But that means those tokens are definitely safe next turn, so he's not
They're
picking. He has to get the.
So he's not.
Unless
not
he
winning that way.
Using-
5 hits from Hector.
Oh, 5.
3
2,
wins.
3. It's not nothing. This is it. It's going to be a. I think there is a 7. He has to have this twice.
The turn 7 roll is going to be huge.
That was good. That
Ooh.
was really good.
Ooh,
And Mesa Crushing, I think.
6 more.
Takes to 11. So
Vicious is that one, yeah. Oh.
Wavered?
16 wavered.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, is it? It's all down to the bloody 4 plus roll now, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah, that's it. 4 plus to win.
Oh.
Why is Nectar brutal?
Why is he Nectar brutal? I don't know, because he's got everything else.
Oh my god.
No!
Last game.
Paul sneaks it. That is...
Yeah.
That is I mean, I have to admit, I didn't see that coming at all. That was
I told you,
well played.
grab that middle bloody token when you can.
True. You're right, because at the moment the Gigas would have the token, wouldn't they? They'd be holding on to it. 2 fingers up to these Draken Riders. Yeah.
Get your hands on the token whenever you can. Don't leave it open.
What a bonkers game.
Oh my god.
I'd really like to speak to Paul. I'd love to have a conversation with him after the game and go, so what emotions were you going through there?
I believe the expression is squeaky bum time.
Squeaky bum time.
Survive
He's
that
changed his
last
pants
nerve roll there.
several times, I think.
So these Drakons, they aren't on the opposite side of the board, so it's just 1. They're winning by 1, essentially.
Yeah, they have to be not majority. It's all completely within, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's invades majority, isn't it?
It's
Yeah, pushes
completely.
entirely.
One way or the other, guys.
Right.
Excellent. Not a massively bloody game. I don't think the kill points are going to be very high, are they?
Yeah, because they've still got Dragon alive, haven't they? 2 wizards.
Yeah.
Draken Rider.
Yeah, Dragon, 2 wizards.
Paul's got
Trident
one.
Realms have not. Yeah. I mean, they're both taking a good chunk, but nothing.
It's not a wipeout either way.
Wasn't the
I
host
think both players had
recorded
a few
points?
turns of holding off, didn't they?
Doesn't usually the host record how much has died, so we know right now exactly where we are?
Only in kill.
Oh, only in
Oh,
kill.
yeah.
I'm recording.
Only
I'm
when it
recording for
matters.
you what the current score in push is. Paul's won. Speaking of
Job
which,
done.
I'm supposed to.
Yeah, Paul sees the Drakons.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear. Yeah.
There we go. I can blank out John's face with a.
It's
And
okay.
it is for the best. It is for the best.
I'm going to stop my cam for a second, and then Paul can, John can jump up one.
Whee!
I could just turn it off. Oh yeah.
So what we're going to ask,
Hasn't
I guess you're going to have to ask Carl as well. What was it? How did he think going in? And why didn't pick up the token? Didn't he? You have to ask why he didn't pick up the token.
So why didn't you pick up the token, and why didn't you charge the flank with the Trident King? Like, those are my 2.
Oh yeah, flank with the Trident King. Yeah, good point.
I suppose that the big one for me is: did you consider going after the archers with the
Yeah, that was
with
the
the
other thing we
Dambusters?
already had. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's true too.
1160. So it was a good chunk, but nothing massive.
It's 50%, isn't it? Pretty much on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I can't see anything else. I mean, yeah, the archers being able to get away was quite key. I don't know. I think he played everything else quite well. He managed to pin back those hordes. He put them in the position he needed to be. He was a little bit unlucky not to destroy the Palace Guard horde on the left initially, didn't he? But you're right. Trident King in the flank would have tipped that, or using the frogs. But
I mean, I think for me, I think Kyle played it sort of perfectly, really, until that last turn. And I think leaving that token available to be grabbed was huge, and has meant this happened, really. Because he was unlucky to get wavered, and he was unlucky. He would have preferred to have died, effectively, because then you could have double charged.
You're completely right. If he'd have picked up the token, he'd either survived like he has done and kept the token, or he would have died and then had everybody able to charge in anyway. So he'd have been quids in either way, wouldn't he? There we go.
And I think
that grabs the token.
I also think that Kyle not taking the Dam Busters over and blocking up the leftmost horde of Palace Guard was an opportunity, because really at that point you're saying, I'm going to kill your archers and get 2 tokens unless you commit these Drakons back towards that flank, which takes them out of the game for the rest. Takes them out for the rest of the game.
It does mean that he doesn't necessarily destroy the Palace Guard horde like he did, and he would just be using the Eternal to just clog them up for a little bit. But...
Yep, exactly. But that unit, being as nimble, speed 7, like he had options to, if he didn't commit to protecting the archers with the tokens, they could have potentially just ran away or hid or done some unique maneuvers, and then the rest of his army could have came over and supported. Because I still think you charge the rightmost Palace Guard horde, which he killed, and then you just start moving down the line.
So 23-12 final score.
That's pretty close still.
What an excellent scoring system.
No bias.
No bias whatsoever. It's not like 2 of the authors are currently sat on the stream.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrible system. All positive. Horrible.
Right, you can...
You know what's really useful, though? I can just mute him now. Censorship. It's alive and well.
This is dictatorship. What are you about censorship?
Yeah, we didn't vote for you, Elliot.
Yeah, that's true. Oh dear. So
I think we're just waiting for.
Yeah,
I think he's going to come join us. I think he's just saying thank you very much to Paul.
Paul saying better lucky than good. I bet he wished he had some better luck with some of those nerve rolls, especially his dragon.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that dragon's alive. It had the worst luck. It took 2 knuckers it probably shouldn't have. It took a tree leaper unit it shouldn't have.
I was going to say,
exhausted.
Paul, Paul, Paul has pulled a win here while having 4 double ones. He's
Yeah, and but that was a good game. I mean, it's one of those ones where we thought it was going to go one way, and then right at the last, old twist. It's a good one to stream. I like it.
Yeah,
it's a very good one. Yeah.
I just want to talk to Kyle. Come on, Kyle, get on here so we can ask you, what were you doing?
we can interrogate you.
Elliot, you got some questions to put up on screen?
Yeah, I've just seen that. Yeah, I don't know what Adam put.
Yeah,
Adam manipulated and played around with my scoring pack.
So I think in push it's 1 bonus tournament point for every victory point, not for each one that you hold. So in this case, it would be +5 for Paul. I think what you are thinking of is dominate and invade, where we do +1 for each unit rather than each victory point, because it's very easy to get the maximum +5. We found that winners generally always got the maximum +5 in dominating invasion.
But I'm just going to check that Adam hasn't modified it.
Oh dear.
Adam keeps going rogue. So,
Keeps going.
Yeah. So when this scoring system is done correctly,
no, it is 2. Yeah. One bonus VP for each token you hold. 2 if the unit holding is entirely in your opponent's half of the board. So
Cool.
they've done it right.
All right.
Boom.
Good. I know my own system. That's good to know.
well, you know what your own system is supposed to be. The question of whether they're using the right system is another one entirely.
Yeah.
Do you just pull the dictator card anyway and go, no, you got it wrong. This is how it should be, right?
I think Elliot does that anyway.
Yeah.
The life of the GMs.
Oh dear.
I'm just messaging him, seeing it's coming back.
Carl says that he's here, just waiting to be added.
There he is.
All right. So that
Hey.
happened.
Hello, Kai.
We thought you had that. We thought you had that all the way until the
How
last
was
time.
that?
So did I.
Wait. Yeah.
When the gigas at the end got wavered again, I didn't think I had it, but up until then, I thought I did.
So, what would you say was
We have
your biggest
couple of questions
mistake,
going.
Kyle?
There were several.
That's
Biggest?
The biggest.
Well, the easy answer is just not picking up the token in the middle at any point over the course of the game.
I would agree. And
Yeah,
I think
I may
Elliot
have shouted a few times. Literally yelling.
we thought you were going to pick it up with your title swarm on turn 2 or turn 1.
I mean, I could have.
I mean, forces him to shoot you, and if he doesn't kill you, you just run away with it, right?
He shot me and killed me anyway.
I'll play and pass it back.
Right.
But yeah, especially at the end, I should have just picked it up with those gigas.
Why did you choose not to?
But you know.
Because I realized in the shooting phase that I should have done it.
So you can still pick it up, because you can pick it up at the end of any phase, Kyle.
Oh, I thought it was when you had to move on them.
Nope.
No,
Oh,
any
no.
phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new.
But yeah. But, I say, and I will point out, it's much easier to see these things when you've got 4 commentators watching a game you're not playing.
Oh yeah. Right.
When you're actually in the game, it's much harder. And the nice thing is with us commentating, if you do something we don't see, we can pretend we saw it.
Yeah. And that's when, the quiet one that hasn't talked for a little bit was like, oh yeah, I was going to say he should do that.
Definitely
Yeah,
thinking that.
Adam.
Yeah.
I think
The question we saw had around the direction of the game was, did you ever consider taking the horde of dambusters to go left to chase down the archer regiment rather than fight Palace Guard?
I could have, but I felt like at any point if I had done that, they would have just gotten demolished by Drakons. I didn't think I could safely do it with the Drakons there at any point.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, because we were talking that you would be able to hop over the building from what we were seeing and threaten them, and then force his Drakons to essentially come back to just counter threat. So at that point, you could either gamble and go for it, or just run away and say, hey, the Drakons are again another turn delayed.
Right, and it took him so long to fly in between those 2 buildings with the Drakons that I figured I had time.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You had all day.
I think
You might have walked it.
I think we should say for balance that while we were, saying pick the tokens up at you, we were also saying move the dragons right, don't go between them.
Oh, you're talking about just putting them like north of the building right there to cover everything in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even turn 1, when he didn't position it to where they could see towards the center, you did exactly what I thought you were going to do, which is run those river guard up, run those dam busters up, and then everything else just has a lane going right up the middle.
I thought there was a lot of good play in there, and I think he took advantage of a lot of what he had, and you had him right up to bang to rights, pushing him back in the middle, making sure his flanks weren't getting into you. Although those knuckers, I mean, how they survived, both of them for so long. But,
okay, the one on the left survived about as long as it should have. The one on the right had no business charging that dragon.
The first time, and when it charged the second time.
Vapors.
Yeah, you did everything right there. Just pushed up and then
my
got into the right place. So does it feel quite frustrating just feeling that you were right in the right place and it just didn't end up turning for you?
Yes, and I knew I was taking some big risks, especially when I went in. I'm pointing at my screen as if you can see it. The turn I actually charged the Palace Guard, I went in knowing that if I didn't kill both of them, I was in trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's what
so
we
do. Yeah. And
I don't know if you saw it as well, but I think your Trident King had a flank on the left-hand side one.
He did. But I felt like I needed him to kill the unit on the right because those gigas that kept getting wavered were wavered.
So we were looking at it as if you kill the unit on the left, that puts you in a really good position, even if you don't kill or waver the unit on the right.
Yeah, that might have been a better call.
Hindsight's obviously 20/20, but you feel like that would have put you in a better position now?
Yes, because so I do that. I spin the tree leapers around. He probably charges the gigas with the Drakons. But if he does that, he kills them, and then he's just totally exposed.
I don't think he charges anything at that point with the Drakons because, like you said, he gets countercharged and they're dead.
Then what does he do?
Yeah, he had nothing left in the center of the board, so
right. He would have to wait for the dragon on the right again, so he would be playing the delay game.
But the dragon on the right, as we established, never got there.
Right.
Yeah. No.
But at that point, he didn't know it was never going to get there.
I think the game so far, you could probably guess how that was going to go.
Yeah, exactly. I was ready for the Plaquemines to just swing back and kill him.
No. Any other questions or final thoughts?
No, and as I say, it was a really close game. It was a really good watch. There was lots of options, and whether you took the right one or the wrong one isn't the big issue. I think it was just a good game to see. It was nice as well to see you just correcting him when he got things wrong. When he a couple of times, just saying you did actually cause the extra couple of wounds. You did actually waver him on the first roll, so it was good sportsmanship.
Definitely.
Maybe I shouldn't have done it when it turned out to waver the gigas that made me lose at the end. But other than that,
you also you forgot that one of your units was wavered, or one of his units was wavered.
Yeah, because you called that you were using the frogs on the Stormwind Cav with your River Guard, and you guys played it that you were one shy and forgot Brutal.
Oh, did we forget Brutal? Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
The double ones made it up anyway, didn't they?
He rolled double ones and then just murdered you with the dragon like 2 turns later. So
I didn't catch that.
I mean, it's every game is going to have something like that where you're one off either way, where you've both worked it out wrong or something. But like John says, it was very very good to see you correcting your opponent to his benefit. That was really sporty, really good to see.
Yep.
So
Kyle,
Kyle,
thank you very much for letting us watch over your shoulder.
Last
what
question.
Were you saying, Adam?
Sorry, Adam.
Have you ever beaten elves?
No comment.
All right.
What a perfect place to end. I could say a massive thank you to Carl and Paul for letting us look over their shoulders. And I think we're almost just shy of 3 hours. A huge thanks to Nick, Adam, and John for for joining me in the insightful commentary. I'm sure you'll all agree. And
Was it
see you all later.
Later.
It was very
Bye.
interesting.
Very
Bye.
All right, thanks, guys.